This message is brought to you by Apple Pay. No matter where you're going this summer, odds are you'll need to pay for a few things, like a ride share, a souvenir, or dinner at that spot on your bucket list. Instead of digging in your wallet every time, just use Apple Pay. It's accepted anywhere you see the contactless symbol, and all it takes is a tap with your iPhone or Apple Watch. The best part is you'll still earn the card rewards, points, and cashbacks you love. Easy setup now, easier travels later with Apple Pay. Terms apply. Welcome into the Ringerverse. This is, of course, the Ringers Nexus podcast feed for all things fandom. We are Steve, the architect, Ahlman, the builder and tinker of things. We are Jomi, the explainer, Adeniran. You've got questions, he's got answers. Old man Van here, the receding hairline. Coat, baby, Chuck, 24 karat clothes. Together we are known as Ava Midnight Boys. Also on socials.
Mike Social?
The outsiders. Also on socials. Insta, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. Jomi.
Guys, we're going viral again.
Oh, what did we do?
Going crazy.
For what?
Because he doesn't think Pedro Pascal is sexy.
Yeah, they weren't happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
Fight back, man. It's your time.
They weren't fucking with that.
It's all emotional.
It's all emotional.
Jesus Christ.
Even the people are like, it's, people have a feeling to Pedro Pascal. And by the way, I asked women.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really asked women. And I asked women that y'all know, and I asked them straight up, do y'all want to fuck Pedro Pascal? And they were like, no. They were like,
now, can I ask?
They were like, we love Pedro Pascal. But I'm like, if I put Pedro Pascal next to like even someone less famous than him, like an Idris Elba, is there a different, and like, come on. And they waved him away.
Now, can I ask,
Mm-hmm.
did you ask enough like women like who grew up with Pedro, early 20s, where it was just like, oh, like, is this a generational shit? You know?
Could be, but I had those women ask like their friends.
Mm.
And I think Pedro Pascal is so beloved that I didn't think about how much people like love him. And part of the love is the daddy thing. When they're calling him daddy, like that's like a familial daddy.
Yeah.
Like, but like, you know, it's like, I also, just to let you guys know, I see things as they are.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Real truth teller. And no one else does.
No.
Oh.
Not on this podcast.
What?
All right. Okay.
Oh,
right. Whoa.
Jomi, is it okay for a 30-year-old to date a 23-year-old?
Why not?
The whole world thinks you're crazy. Not on this podcast. You guys, but this is, and by the way, this is actually a good thing about the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
On the podcast, like you guys have a very, not so much Charles. Charles, you're like a anarchist. If you compile all of Charles's, I'm a realist. Charles,
I want to see the world burn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Agent of Chaos.
this is the way the podcast breaks down, if you ask me.
Okay.
I'm a realist.
Right.
Charles is an anarchist.
Okay.
And you two are idealists. Like, and so like.
Batman, Robin, Commissioner Gordon, Joker?
Yeah. Batman, yep. Batman. Well, I don't know. I don't think I'm Batman. Because I'm not.
Actually, Jomi gives me more Dick Grayson Nightwing vibes.
Jomi's Dick Grayson Nightwing.
Right.
The best of us.
Yeah.
This is Commissioner, the heart of this is Commissioner Gordon. You're the Joker.
I'm beating up Marines in
I don't
garages.
think we have a Batman. Because I'm not getting out of bed at night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once you're in bed, you're in bed.
Kill him, like, you got to let Joker die.
Yeah, I'm probably, I don't know. Like,
do you wake up and do push-ups, or do you just...
So I'm not, I don't think we have
I don't
a Batman.
know. I've seen some of the gym clips. You know what I'm saying?
No, you mean the G-Box?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But, so what I'll say is this. So, like, I know for a fact that they're lying.
Okay, they're just lying on the internet for no reason.
All the comments, every single person is just making it up.
Lying.
It's bots.
They feel very connected to Pedro Pascal, and they don't like someone saying this about him.
So this is like a parasocial relationship kind of a thing.
They like even the whole thing when we talked about like Pedro Pascal is they call him daddy on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
They call him daddy
because of it's a. I don't even want to say it, but it's
go for
it. There's a safety that they feel with Pedro Pascal and with who Pedro Pascal is.
Right.
His essence.
Yeah, there's a safety that they feel with it. But people that are talking about the fact, if Pedro Pascal was who they say that he was, they would be talking about Materialist in a different way. They would be talking about the movie in a different way. Materialist assumes that Pedro Pascal is who the internet says he is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the movie assumes, and it doesn't work.
Interesting. I still do want to see it. I've been told that it's broke boy propaganda.
They put him in that movie because they think, and it just kind of does. It doesn't work. It doesn't work because he's not like that. When she's like, "Oh, you're a unicorn," and he is, but it's almost as if, okay, let me ask you a question. Poe Dameron, what's his name?
Oscar Isaac.
What if he's in that role?
Interesting.
It would be worse. I can't co-sign this. I can't co-sign this at all.
So Oscar Isaacs is not a sexier man than Pedro Pascal.
I think in 2025, Pedro Pascal is sexier to more people than Oscar Isaac.
I agree.
Yeah, I think the
That,
popular
I don't
vote will
think that
land
was
in
the
his
one
favor.
who could, now, here's the thing.
When I say I totally disagree, like Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, you can disagree.
But here's
the
the thing.
internet will not be on that
is a
side.
perfect example. Brad Pitt. When Brad Pitt walks on the screen, you like, that's Brad Pitt.
Well, he's older.
Yeah, but still, there are points in that movie where I'm like, shit, that's Brad Pitt. He's still a heartthrob. I get it.
Okay, so if we took guys that are in, so Pedro Pascal's like what, 50?
Yeah.
So if
it's Brad Pitt, right?
No, he's like 62.
Yeah, Brad Pitt's
he's early
older.
60s.
Damn.
I know, right?
Damn.
Looks crazy, right?
Damn.
I'll be honest, when I was in F1, even Javier Bardem.
Dude,
that might be the best he's ever looked.
Like even Javier Bardem, I'm like, I could see the thing.
There's a quick scene of, like, to your point, where Brad Pitt he has his knees on the track and looks up to like smell the air and pick the gravel up. And I was like, this is a movie.
He's got to
star
taste
right
the
here.
earth.
It just looks different. When you see it, you see it. And I saw it with Brad Pitt in that movie. I'm like, I'm watching.
Also,
this is
Damson
different.
is a star. I was like, all right.
Dog,
Damson did it.
That movie was crazy.
That
movie was crazy.
1,000 megawatt smile.
Oh, my God.
How about this? This is what I'll do.
Okay.
Because this is what you do when you're older as well.
Hmm.
I submit and relent. The people have spoken. However, I don't believe you.
All I'm going to say is that
I don't believe
what
you.
But you guys are wrong.
What this conversation has revealed to me is I think maybe we should invite our sisters on and do like a Midnight Sexiest Men, list.
Oh, no.
Midnight Gals.
Yeah. We could. I don't know though. Like if we do that, then is everybody's gonna be feel safe and seen? And can we do something like that? It's like,
All right.
Let's get the fucking Jurassic Park and Ironheart.
15 people involved. We're gonna have to go over it for 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 hours. Everybody's gonna have to feel safe. We can't just do so. I don't know. Like just
we can't do Sexiest Man Alive anymore.
I don't know if it's okay.
People do it every. What do you mean?
We have to make sure because there's you want me to get me started? There are other things that we wanted to do on the podcast that we couldn't do it because you guys didn't feel safe or say whatever. So just like whatever, we'll just whatever we'll do, we'll workshop it for 5 or 6. Whatever we do, we'll workshop it for 5 or 6 hours. We'll get Arjuna involved, and then we'll come back and then maybe we'll do it. All right, program reminders. House of R will be continuing their deep dive on Squid Game, and this Friday, the Midnight Boys bring you a very special Midnight Court. On today's show, we have our reactions to the final episodes of Ironheart and our reactions to Jurassic World Rebirth. Now, look, we're about to get into some real pod in here. I've seen some of you guys that have had thoughts on Jurassic Park Rebirth on the old Twitter sphere. I'm letting you guys know right now. You're not going to get a measured response from me if you diss the movie.
A measured response.
Do we ever get a measured response?
From me? Yeah.
everything that we just experienced in the last.
So was your review of F1 a measured
bubbling,
response?
That's bubbling frustration. But no, this movie is my Pedro Pascal.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
It doesn't matter how beautiful the rest of you think it is. It's my pretty little baby.
All right.
Jurassic Park Rebirth. Yeah. Okay. Spoiler warning for everything Jurassic Park up to date. Steve.
We're getting ready to talk about
Jurassic World Rebirth.
You're listening to a reaction podcast. The spoilers are coming.
Chuck Wagon, Midnight Manifest, Dinosaurs, Families, ScarJo, go.
All right, this is your Midnight Manifest for Jurassic World Rebirth, directed by Gareth Edwards, written by David Koepp, starring Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, Jonathan Bailey, among others. The world has finally gotten bored of dinosaurs, with many of them dying from disease and the rigors of the modern environment. Mercenary Zora and Dr. Henry Loomis are hired by Parkergenics to go to a remote island that was abandoned after mutated dinosaurs ran amok. The pharmaceutical representative Martin wants the duo to collect 3 blood samples from one land, air, and sea dinosaur. This blood will be used by Parkergenics to create a medicine that can save millions of lives. Zora puts a team of mercenaries together, led by Duncan Kincaid. Along the way, the soldiers save the Delgado family from a dinosaur caused shipwreck. But when the big crew get to the island, they realize the mutated dinosaurs are more than they can handle. It's up to Zora and company to evade mutant raptors and the 6-legged Distortus Rex to get off the island and get the blood samples back to the mainland. That has been your Midnight Manifest for Jurassic World Rebirth. All right, Van. We've seen some of the static and critique from fans, Rotten Tomato scores, critics, the like. The Midnight Boys, it feels like, had a different experience when we saw Jurassic World Rebirth. So, like, how are you feeling right now? How are you feeling with the discourse, the movie, everything?
I'm ready to go to war.
I'm ready to go to war for the dinosaurs.
I'm ready to go to war, man. No, there's so many things, should I say, happening in my mind these days. So many things that I'm looking at. But one thing that I'm certain of is Jurassic Park Rebirth.
Jurassic World Rebirth.
Whatever. Maybe this is the lowered expectations. Because I wasn't expecting shit.
Same.
I was expecting ScarJo to fucking phone it in.
Wow.
I was like, why is Mahershala Ali here? But you know what I got? I got the feeling. I got the closest feeling to the first Jurassic Park movie that I've had. I'll be honest with you. Mainly because it is sort of a retelling of the first Jurassic Park movie. It's a shadow reboot, as was Force Awakens. But when I look at the movie, I remember there were laughs, there were thrills, there were chills, and there were dinosaurs, and I fucking loved it.
I mean, similar to you, I was actually mad that I had to go to the screening because I was just like, oh, another fucking Jurassic Park.
I was with you, man.
hate
I'm
seeing.
like, this is not going
And
to
I had no
watching
expectations. And when I say I had such a fun time at the movie theaters,
Yeah.
is this a dumb movie? Yes. Does it make any sense? No. Are they retreading a lot of shit? For sure. But there were just moments. There was this one shot, we've all been talking about it, spoiler alert, where one of the older daughter of the Delgado family is trying to get that raft, and it expands, and then the T-Rex is there, and then it disappears. Where I was like, fuck it got me. It did the thing that I always want summer blockbusters to do, which is like, if you're not going to reinvent the wheel, just like show me a good time. Make me laugh, make me like cheer, make me just feel something. And this is not a perfect movie in any stretch of the imaginations, but it is a fun movie. And I had fun.
There's a great moment when I was sat next to Charles during this, and I leaned over and I was like, why do I respect this more than Mission Impossible right now?
Yeah.
And it was because I was like, we've seen so many of these most recent Jurassic Worlds. They don't really have any of the juice that a Jurassic Park movie deserves. And there's a moment in this movie, I think it was probably like in the 20-minute mark, not even, where like every single scene, you don't go a single scene without some kind of dinosaur encounter. It's like either a mini set piece or a little bit of dialogue or a little bit of things where you have an encounter with a dinosaur, and it's just like, a kid taking a piss and there's a bunch of dinosaurs just
Right.
eating each other behind him.
Right.
And it's incredible. Or you see like an amazing T-Rex sequence. Like every single scene isn't without some sort of Jurassic Park wonder. And that's really all we needed to have a great time.
As the only person who was even remotely interested in this movie when we were gonna cover it, I came in kind of like you, Van. It was like, I've seen the last 2 Jurassic World movies. It could not get any worse. Like there's literally no way it could get worse than Dominion. And I'm in the theater and I'm sitting next to my guys. I'm like, man, I'm having a great time.
We were laughing.
We were laughing.
Cheering.
We were cheering. Like the whole thing. Like when they put the little Delgado daughter in danger, sitting there like, oh nah, man, not her. Like the entire movie has, again, it's not perfect, but it does the thing that Jurassic Park movies do when they're doing something good, and that not only makes you worried about the characters, but also fills you with a sense of wonder and like awe. And I thought that this movie did that in spades. I had a great time.
Yeah, you know, the Jurassic Park movies are pretty formulaic. It's expert, a scientist, and then people caught up in the middle that are kind of there on accident, or they didn't go there expecting that they would be in a dinosaur kill box. This one does do things a little differently in that it gives the family an arc. The shithead boyfriend,
Oh man.
automatically, the father can't see this. Automatically, when you see the shithead boyfriend, you're like, I know this guy, and this guy is on this boat. Like the first scene, you get the feeling that he was downstairs fucking the guy's daughter. He comes up and he goes, he's getting dressed, and the guy's like, shit, you know. And when he continuously steps up throughout the entire movie, you go, oh, I know what this is. I know this is the guy who is probably overlooked. Like in the scene between the father and him, when you see that he doesn't think very much of himself, then you understand why he roams throughout the world without putting any effort in. It's because he doesn't think he has anything to give.
He was also like probably the funniest character in the movie. He's got the bit where, you know, he's talking, you want some weed? Like that bit was hilarious. But also when he shows up and he's a dick in a Jurassic Park movie, you're like, oh, he's gonna die. He's gonna die
I'm
horribly.
waiting for you to get
I was waiting for. I thought when he was
going
taking the
to-
piss, he was out of here.
Like immediately you're like, oh man, his death is gonna be crazy.
They
Wow,
never
wow,
kill
wow.
anyone from the family of people.
Well, he wasn't. He's the boy.
He's the boy, sure. And he's also,
there's no
also.
way that character dies. Like if that.
Oh,
like,
I don't know.
No, they never kill anyone from. All the civilians are safe normally, unless he would have done something. And the moment that he does something like heroic,
Yeah.
then Jurassic Park movies, to me, the way I look at it, and you can tell me, Jomi, as the expert, is if you're bad, you're dead. If you're below the stars, but part of their crew,
Definitely.
definitely.
it's basically the same rules for Star Trek movies.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you're on the
Exactly.
cover
Even when they almost killed Mahershala, I'm like,
He's
there's
not going to die.
I'm like, come on, man.
I was
There's
like,
no
nah,
way to
nah,
kill
nah,
him.
Yeah, he's not going to die. But like, if you're a capitalist, it's so funny that the movies are these anti-capitalist, pro-science things when they are essentially these gigantic corporate commercials.
This is
Like
okay.
it's like the big time bad capitalist that everybody is staring at. You want him to die as you're eating popcorn out of your Jurassic Park bucket.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
There's always this weird thing that I've also had with the Jurassic Park movies pretty much ever since the first one, where the first one is like a perfect movie because it's this big, insane experiment on like the hubris of humanity in the wonders of science to marvel at these things that were like millions upon millions of years old that we never got to see. And it was amazing. But like 9 movies in, they are still in this world genetic abominations that should not be here. And there's a weird thing in my mind where I'm like, why hasn't this series gone the way of like Aliens, where we're just like mowing these things down with machine guns and like making this a thing about survival, about this thing that we created. But instead it's this weird like scientific and reverence that these movies have for dinosaurs that like the Jonathan Bailey character is like, it's a sin to kill a dinosaur. When I'm like, it's a sin for them to be here. And there's this weird thing that the series has kind of carried over with these animals that hasn't exactly changed, where we're going to make these things coexist, but also genetically mutate and alter them and never learn our lesson.
So so take your experiment and put it in the real world. So let's say that it all actually happened.
Sure.
So ask yourself this question. What would stop us from taking machine guns and mowing down the dinosaurs?
What would stop us from doing that?
Yeah.
Like some sort of as the movies have described, like some sort of like either capitalistic gain to be used from them, be they medicine, be they economic, be they like anything. If there's any sort of utility that we would have for these things, we would find a way to keep them. Like capitalism would find a way to do that. And at every turn, it seems to keep doing that. So that perversion is still there in this series.
We would stop us. If you
Peter would be out there with signs.
Yeah. If you bring these animals back and then start just like fucking killing them and like blowing them away, you gonna be.
They gonna look at you crazy.
Yeah.
Right. But if you're
you're
marooned on an island with a bunch of mercenary commandos.
No.
No.
The dinosaur culling is not gonna go over well with the people on Twitter.
But it's only gonna be with the people on Twitter.
It's not.
Hashtag murder
I'm
on the
gonna
If I could be real, Steve, we already see how white people act about dogs.
Imagine you pull up on Dolores and you got the blinky, bro. Come on, man.
You shouldn't be here.
That's crazy.
You were here millions upon millions of years before the first
Wait. Hold on.
Pokemon have more rights than these dinosaurs.
Is that a white man telling somebody where they can and can't be?
See, this is the difference.
Wow.
Who made the dinosaurs?
Asian.
Well,
respect BD Wong. Oh my God.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Jesus Christ.
what I'm saying is,
I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the professor.
I think that kind of sort of gets like a little bit talked about in the movie is that there are people, and you're definitely not going to be able to mow them down now that we can study down, we can use them to cure heart disease and stuff like that. Allegedly. But there are people who are taking up the cause of the dinosaurs. And there would be. If we
Absolutely would be.
There are going to be people that are going to be like, it's not their fucking fault that they're here. Don't fucking touch the dinosaur. Don't kill the dinosaur. Don't do any of that stuff. It's not their fault that.
Do you think there are any chefs in this world that are like cooking the dinosaurs?
Dude, come on.
Oh, I bet some dinosaur tail tastes amazing.
If you went to like somewhere like there's got like a secret kitchen in the back and they're making like dinosaur sushi, and it probably tastes disgusting.
I don't know how it tastes.
I would eat dinosaur. Wait,
I would try dinosaur.
Have you
Would
eaten
you
alligator before?
Yeah.
What does alligator taste like?
It's overrated to me, but people like it.
But does it taste like reptilian? Like,
does it taste reptilian?
It's gamey.
No.
Like fish? Like it tastes like water?
You know, it's funny. You said, does it taste reptilian? And then I went, does it taste, because I don't understand what reptilian would taste like. But I guess what you're asking is do reptiles have their own taste? And have I eaten that many reptiles? Like, what's a reptile?
Frog legs?
No, those are amphibians.
Frogs are not. But I haven't eaten that. I've eaten it before. But you know what? If the alligator is a reptile, which I'm not sure that it is, by the way, is it a reptile? Is it a reptile?
I thought alligators are like related to dinosaurs, right?
Yeah. So, but if it's a reptile, I guess that's the reptile taste that I know.
So the birds are classified as dinosaurs. So if we're going through like just how evolution it works, then it'd probably be closer to
chicken.
Well, alligator doesn't taste dissimilar from. This is what I'm saying. Alligator doesn't have a distinct enough taste for us to justify killing the alligator and eating him.
Sure. Okay.
So I always thought that, like, you go to a place in Louisiana and you have the alligator, and I'm like, we don't have to kill him because he don't.
It's not
taste
like beef.
nothing.
Like beef, chicken, like these taste distinctly different.
Yeah.
Versus like alligator. Part of me is I'm like, I can't even imagine. It's just like meat.
But the dinosaurs are so muscular too.
Yeah.
I don't know that much
but
about
also
dinosaurs.
like they're pretty big, right? So like how would you like there's a scene with the Titanosaurus and the tail is waving and like they're like enormous. Well, how would you go about like, all right, let's kill the dinosaur, chop it up and eat it and sell it. Like,
But
that
some of
seems
the
like a lot of
raptors,
work.
like a raptor leg, like a chicken leg,
some
you
of the
fry that
smaller
shit
raptors.
up. Like it probably tastes
I mean,
pretty
to be
good.
honest with you, really Dolores.
See, that's what.
Not
little
Dolores.
baby
Protect
Triceratops.
Dolores
Is that
at
like
all
a
costs.
veal?
Let's
of
talk
the-
about Dolores. There is something about cuteness in peril
Mhm.
that only the Jurassic Park movies do well.
Really?
Cuteness in peril. Because dinosaurs, and this is interesting to me, I was thinking about this. Dinosaurs kids are obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kids love dinosaurs. But dinosaurs are fucking dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, not all of them.
A lot of them are.
Well,
I would argue that all of them are.
Oh,
actually.
what?
Yeah, I mean they're big and can hurt you either with teeth or horns, or can just step on you without even thinking about it.
Chris Pratt was walking around like one of them velociraptors was a pit bull. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
They
yeah,
can be
because they can be trained,
Blue.
right? But you'd have to.
That was also, can we be real?
The clicker
Just going
thing?
You'd
back,
have to.
It's insane that the first Jurassic World movie is just like, we're giving Chris Pratt basically just like a velociraptor that listens to it.
Guys,
Yeah.
you think that's dumb? In Fallen Kingdom, they give the raptor, they train the raptors with lasers, and so you have to point the laser at the person to kill for the raptor to kill him, right? And at that point, why not just use a gun? You know,
Nah, because that's not swag. That's not
swag?
Nah, bro.
Well, we didn't
To
come
use
here
a
to
gun?
see the-
Yeah,
The
I
gun
can't
kill.
see
We
guns.
couldn't
I
see
can't even see
dinosaur
fucking
kill.
dinosaurs.
Long story
Is
short,
it-
it's dumb as hell. But like, I feel like dinosaurs, you can't. It's literally like if you were just like Tiger King and you had all types of like leopards and tigers. Like, sure, you might be able to train it, but then I get over there and you're not really listening to me. I'm dead.
Yeah.
I'm ripped apart.
Yep.
Okay, so but what I'm saying about the movie is the wonder that kids, when they're children in the movie, the wonder that kids have for dinosaurs, right?
Mhm.
They really have it for all animals. But it wouldn't be a great movie if you dropped a kid off with their family in the middle of the Serengeti
Mhm.
and had tigers and
Yeah.
hippos
And
and,
they're like,
different
wow.
animals, and they're like, oh my God. But dinosaurs, it's like almost amusement park, fantastical fantasy stuff. So it always works when you put cuteness in peril like this. And I feel like some of the past movies have kind of gotten away from that. They've gotten away from, to me,
No, they haven't done it. They haven't done it.
to me, they got away from, oh my God, oh, we're here, we're seeing dinosaurs, they're so cool, but now it's time to run. And that's a very easy thing to do in a Jurassic Park movie, and it should be done in every Jurassic Park movie.
I think the
Every
thing.
Jurassic Park movie should have some small child running away to his parents away from a dinosaur.
I
It
think the
works.
thing you're talking about is because in the first Jurassic World movie, it's like they're new, like they're finally opening the park for the first time,
Mhm.
so you're able to view it like that. Versus the next two movies, like, oh, these are dinosaurs, they're everywhere, who cares? Like that, and then you don't have that.
There
You
was-
don't have that like worry.
One of the first shots you see of a dinosaur in this movie is one being dragged from the Hudson River with graffiti on it,
it's crazy
which is insane.
because they're
like-
sick in the whole thing.
It was sick because it lives too far away from the equator.
Well,
Yeah,
so-
but
so
you
that-
need the kid. You like the best Jurassic Park movies have the child, have the kids in peril at every opportunity.
I think the
Mhm.
best scene, or not the best, it's the top 3 scene, is the raptor scene from the original where the
yeah.
kids are hiding
In the kitchen, yeah.
kitchen, and like the little raptors are like looking for them. And that, I think even Gareth Edwards has talked, like he wanted to make these movies like scary again and put these people in peril.
And they did kind of the same thing where they're in the little gas station shop.
Yeah.
And they're in the
Go
corridor
through the aisles.
and running through the aisles. Exactly. It's just like the kitchen
I
scene
did
from the
not
first
fuck
one.
with those mutated raptors. I'm just like, nah, these motherfuckers are
Yo.
too dope. Like they're flying, they're smart as shit.
The mutated dinosaurs was interesting because you have to keep doing something to up the ante, or we're doing the same Jurassic
It's the
Park movie.
Tyrannosaurus
It's the
Rex
Tyrannosaurus
the whole
Rex
time,
again.
yeah.
But the mutated dinosaurs were interesting in that they're so ugly and they were so weird. They were such weirdos
Uh-huh.
that they almost did something where they were like, let's give you a group of weirdo dinosaurs
Mm.
that you can root against, because our relationship with the rest of the dinosaurs at this point is kind of complicated. We like the raptor.
but that's-
we like the
T-Rex.
And that's
Yeah.
kind of my problem
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, the designs of these new genetic freak dinosaurs, to me, are never going to be as cool as dinosaurs that we knew actually were real. Like that final boss Gigantosaur or whatever
D-Rex?
the hell that they were
D-Rex.
running from at the end.
Distortus Rex.
Distortus
Dumb.
Rex, dumb name.
Dumb.
Like, that's never going to be as cool as an actual T-Rex that they had in that encounter. Like, anything in that scene, that river sequence with the T-Rex was way better, in my opinion.
I think, well, the thing is, and we saw this in the last 3 Jurassic World movies, you can't have the T-Rex come and save the day at the end like you used to, you know what
I
I'm
suppose.
saying?
Yeah.
Like, because I'm watching the movie, I'm like, when they're finding the T-Rex, I'm like, all right, when's the T-Rex showing up to save the day? That's what happens, right? That's what we're doing.
But is the T-Rex in, like, let's have the conversation. Does Jurassic Park have a star problem? You know what I'm saying?
think it
Where
does.
There's no other dinosaur that's really like could be a franchise player, could get you a lot of points, can really just
Absolutely right.
promote the brand.
The T-Rex is legitimately like the LeBron James of Jurassic World.
Then what are the Velociraptors?
I want to say Steph. That's probably 2. But like they're like the KD, like they have their moments, right? You respect them and what they've done for the game. But ultimately, if you start naming who, like, he's literally like the logo. You know what I mean? Like when you think about Jurassic Park, you think about Jurassic World, you think about the T-Rex. Now you have to move forward from that. It's year 23 for the T-Rex. He's coming out of retirement. It's about that time. Who takes over? I agree with you guys. I didn't hate the T-Rex as much as you guys did. I think it served its purpose in the story, but we can't build a franchise around no T-Rex.
It's like at that point, it may as well just be a Star Wars monster. Like I said it, like this looks just like the Rancor.
I mean, it was definitely
basically
modeled off the match. Yeah, come on. Like, but I don't know how you move on from the T-Rex and not, because then you're just making the same movie over and over again. It's like, all right, we got to fight the T-Rex. We got to go do the T-Rex. We got to do the T-Rex. You need some.
The thing that was interesting with about the T-Rex scene is that, like, to me, story-wise, they made an interesting decision with him. The T-Rex was asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Was being disturbed. That was interesting narratively to me. The T-Rex is sleeping. The girl, the daughter, is trying to get something that she needs. She disturbs the T-Rex and the T-Rex attacks. That's essentially the whole Jurassic Park story. Like, the T-Rex wasn't doing anything to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't bothering anybody. It is disturbed by her because she's in a space where she's not supposed to be. And the T-Rex attacks. That's kind of what the T-Rex has been throughout the entire Jurassic Park series. It's been something that's been like, hey, it's like an orphaned hero. I did not ask to be here. I am doing things, and these things are kind of helping you guys. But the reality is, I didn't ask to be brought back. I am this latent ferocity that is unleashed onto this world. So I accidentally help. And that scene really worked because it was like, well, you could read him as just being scared.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you? What are you doing? Like, what are you guys doing? I'm sleeping. I'm resting here. This is my home. You came in here to get a raft, and a very durable raft. You came in you came here to get a raft, like
made of vibranium.
Like the T-Rex is running after her as the same way that someone would run after somebody that like had come into their house.
Mm-hmm.
So that it's still absolved, still scary, and also the prettiest dinosaur. What they try to do, in my opinion, is the T-Rex is beautiful. It's a beautiful looking dinosaur. Small arms, but hey, whatever. It's beautiful.
What's wrong with small arms?
You wouldn't
funny.
think that
This is funny.
The wingspan is like what, you know, but small arms. But you would think that the dinosaurs that they make, they want them to be ugly and malformed, and because it adds to the majesty of the dinosaurs that we already know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once again, the movie itself is how well can we justify running and screaming?
Yeah.
And something else worked in this film. The fact that these people were lifeless mercenaries. All right? The lifeless mercenaries who find calling throughout the relationship that they have to this family.
I think
that's a very, they got to give you something.
Yeah,
right.
They got to give you some reason to care about the people and to start them off as Like she's like, I want $10 million. I want this. They're scheming. They're plotting. They have old boy from in there. He gets killed early.
Dario Harris from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, he gets killed early. Was he not in Deadpool 2? Or am I
He
tripping?
wasn't. He was the first Deadpool.
Yeah. So he was also in the Rebel Moon. So
Transporter 2, I
but
think.
like giving them even a little bit of an arc, where it's like, oh my God, they care about something more than money because they have to become protectors.
Right.
That was interesting. That's at least interesting for
I
characters.
thought to harp on that point a little bit more. They put everybody together, right? The first they're all just sailing separately, and then their ship gets attacked by Moses, or the family ship gets attacked by Mosasaurus. Then they're all on the boat together. I'm like, all right, this is the movie. They're gonna sit together because they have to get to some part of the island for safety, and that's gonna be it. But they split them up again.
Yes.
Which at first I was like, I don't really
interesting.
know how I feel about that. Yeah, like they're already like, what's the point? And then I realized like, oh, the mercenaries kind of just like over there handling business. It's not really any like real emotion. Right?
Also, everybody on the mercenary side, their paycheck is like a couple of zeros higher than everybody else, so we can't be shooting them too much.
But they have like this thing between ScarJo's character and Jonathan Bailey's character where he's like, we can't kill these dinosaurs, but forget the money, this and that, which is the extent of the emotional growth from those people, at least on the island. Whereas the family, we see them like the boyfriend and the dad.
Oh, that's a whole
find each other. We see the dad and the kids find each other. Like there's a whole emotional arc while they're doing like the action stuff. Whereas ScarJo and Mahershala and Jonathan Bailey are pew pew shoot. Oh no, dino. Like I thought at first I was like I don't really like this, but as the movie goes on, I'm like you're giving us the emotional background that a Jurassic Park movie needs, while also, servicing like the big action stars in the movie. And I thought that worked.
So I could see how people could be pissed though. When if you look at this movie, it is very, very meta. It is very much like, we know y'all are tired of Jurassic Park movies. The people in this movie are tired of dinosaurs. And it's like, y'all are bored of regular dinosaurs. We're giving you mutated dinosaurs to show you that you should appreciate the originals.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think if the part that when it all worked for me, because I could see somebody being like, this is cynical, this is dumb, is when I think his name is Martin, the evil guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We all laughed at the same time when they're on the ship and the daughter is about to go over
She's about to fall.
and he just has this look on his face.
He shows his teeth like a cobra. Like
it is dumb and comical and funny and hilarious. And that was when I was like, that felt like the movie being like, don't take this too seriously.
Yeah.
We're in on the joke.
Well, he's the bad guy from the first time.
Right, he's an all white. He's carrying a briefcase.
Yeah.
No. I knew he was a bad guy. I more so meant like that character was demonstrating to me that they're in on the joke.
Well, no, that's what I mean. I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying when he sneers like that, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was gonna he's
finna die horribly.
It was about to be something like, we have to go find my daughter. And he's gonna be like, fuck your daughter. This is worth trillions of dollars.
But
fuck her. But when he sneered, it was funny.
Yeah.
And the movie, it doesn't waste any time getting all of the characters in their roles.
Mm-hmm.
The guy, Dario, wants to pick up the gun and go, yo, I'm gonna fucking kill a dinosaur. You're like, okay, this nigga's gonna die. And he's gonna die. Like, it would almost been a zag if he would have found Dolores.
It's great that he was the first one to die.
He didn't even make it to the island.
No.
Like, I was so surprised at that. Oh, he didn't even make it to the island.
Even the homegirl got to the island. Bailey is just like, hey, yo, get off the coast.
That was my favorite.
She immediately gets got.
By the way, the movie had a pretty decent body count.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of a Jurassic Park movie, their whole crew got sacrificed to the gods.
That was a good kill, too. I love how it was shot because she was behind the thing.
I could take a cynical read of the film
Which
and
is?
be like, yo, if I lose 3 of my people, I got to come away with some bread, man.
I'm leaving you with some.
I'm leaving
Right.
you
I'm
with
leaving you with some.
Like, if I lose 3 of my people, because essentially, this was one big unforced error by the ScarJo team.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Although, no, because this is what I'll say. If not, I just talk myself out of it. in real time. If not for the ScarJo team, that family dies
True.
Yeah.
because they were still on a tiny sailboat
Yeah.
sailing from South Africa to wherever the fuck they were sailing.
It didn't make sense, but it's
So
fine.
fucking dumb.
I guess people do that. Do people do
They
that?
do that.
Well, people do
they
that. The guy just went from
There's not
Oregon to
dinosaurs in the fucking
Hawaii. Yeah.
If
sea.
I
There
knew
you
I
go.
was in dinosaur-infested waters, probably wouldn't take that trip anymore.
Also,
Yeah.
can we just be real? What is the little Delgado homie gonna do with a whole fucking dinosaur? She
figured out.
took Dolores on the ship. I'm
Just
like,
taking it home with you?
I'm like,
Oh,
you can't
Dolores is
feed.
dead. Dolores is dead. She's gonna die. She
Guys,
can't-
come on, man.
Where
Don't
does-
do
No,
that.
no, no. We already talked about this after the movie. They live near the equator where the dinosaurs can live.
Okay, good for
It's gonna be
them.
good.
But how much food does a dinosaur fucking
I'll
need?
figure it out. It's
That's
easy.
tons.
Do
I'll
we,
figure
do
it
we
out.
even know, like, Dolores looked like a Triceratops, but maybe
Yeah.
she's a dinosaur that's smaller. But let me tell you something. If Dolores, if we come back to for a sequel,
Mhm.
and the kid has gone through puberty, and Dolores is also like 8,000 pounds, that's kind of cool.
That's kind of cool. Now you
Like
got a little.
her having her own dinosaur that she could ride
Moon
on.
Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Up in
There you
Jurassic
go.
World.
You see
the
it.
whole Moon Girl. the
Would you
little
guys,
thing.
this is off topic, but would you guys rather live in a zombie infested apocalypse or in like dinosaur infested shit?
Give me dinosaurs.
Is it both? Is it the apocalypse in both?
Basically, dinosaurs have run rampant. Like everything is shut down. You either have to run from dinosaurs or zombies.
Give me the
Dinosaurs.
dinosaurs. It's not
Dinosaurs.
even close.
Dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Because we could study them.
Mhm.
Them zombies are too fucking unpredictable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
You never know
But
what they're gonna
here's
do.
the thing: you can't kill. The problem is, at least with zombies, you can kill a zombie. If a T-Rex comes and parks in fucking like West Hollywood, what the fuck are we gonna do with the Like, he's gonna kill everybody.
Well,
He
yeah,
can't
but
do shit.
society's
I'm
dumb.
sure
dead.
we can
the
use
problem
guns.
is the way I look at it is we can gang up on the T-Rex.
Yeah.
All zombies do is make other zombies, Charles.
Oh,
Yeah. So you got one zombie, you really got like 50,000 zombies.
You get bitten by a T-Rex,
You know what I'm saying?
you're
They're
dead.
like Trump supporters. You don't want to let one in.
Jesus.
Don't let one
because
in.
You let one in the door. The next thing you know, your homie's going, so what? You don't want to get to die out the food? That's all they talking about.
Red 13.
All they talking about is getting to die out the food. Why you don't want to fuck that vaccine? And you like,
But here's the thing: I would
All right.
rather fight 10 zombies than 10 velociraptors.
yeah, but it's not 10. It's gonna be 10 at first. Then you gonna be a zombie. Then he gonna be a zombie.
Yeah.
And then it's the whole
It's
way.
a virus.
with
Yeah,
zombies.
it starts as a 10v10 and then it becomes a 19v1. Like it's
Mhm.
And then also, dinosaurs got some kind of code. I feel like
What?
I mean, it's nature.
code.
what code do dinosaurs have?
at least they follow the laws of nature. Zombies, like
Jesus.
dinosaurs wouldn't eat their kids. I don't think.
Yes, they do.
No, they own the dinosaurs. If they eat their own kids, nigga, then how did they fucking reproduce and take over the
First
world?
of all, I guarantee you, reptiles eat their own children.
I'm sure they do to a degree, but they can't
Yeah.
be eating them that much, or else there would be no reptiles.
Dude,
Yes,
dinosaurs
So
eat their
what I'm
babies.
saying is, a zombie don't give a fuck about a family unit or nothing like that. A zombie, I guess a zombie doesn't eat another zombie though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They got a code too.
I guess
It
they
was
do.
seen in some species.
Well, a zombie can't
Gotta
eat
have a
another
code.
zombie because they don't get any nourishment from the zombies.
Yes.
I'm thinking here. Maybe I'm changing my mind here about this. No. I'm definitely.
It's definitely
going with
dinosaurs.
I'm definitely going
I'm definitely going
dinosaurs.
with dinosaurs.
What do we-
It's got to be.
What do we think about the humans in this movie? Because I have a take. I don't know, like if it's. I don't think it's gonna be
Not
unpopular,
a bad
but
question though.
I was worried about like the humans.
compelled.
Obviously, you're
Yeah.
still thinking about it.
Yeah.
You're still thinking about it.
Go ahead, Jomi. I'm sorry.
We got to get Mahershala's Blade movie made, man.
those were definitely the blade muscles that were promised.
He looks good. I was legitimately like I'm not here to question
I gotta be
Mahershala's
honest
acting.
with you guys.
Obviously. I was like, he's got it.
Ali, another guy, 51, looks better than Pedro Pascal.
Okay.
Agreed.
He looks great though. He looks
Looks
great.
great.
And that was
Looks better
I'm
than
watching the
Pedro
movie
Pascal.
and I'm like, this guy's awesome. Again, we know he can act, but he's doing the thing in the action movie. I'm like, all right, guys,
What are
where's
we
the
doing?
Blade movie? Why don't we have this by now? I was legitimately like dumbfounded at the end of the movie. Again, they have the big scene at the end, Kincaid's with everything, and like we're all like cheering, like hell yeah. I'm like, dog, make this man his movie, man. What are we waiting for?
I will say, to your point, I like Bailey, I like Mahershala, I like ScarJo. And the reason I can tell that these people are like movie stars, or at least ScarJo and Mahershala especially, are because they don't really get that
They
much to emotionally do.
glid through the movie.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but it's like that's ScarJo is a perfect example. I'm like, this is not the best ScarJo performance, but she has the star wattage where she's just like, all right, give me the pages. All right, I know where I need to be and what I need to do to get us.
Mhm.
I thought Bailey actually surprised me a lot. I was just like, oh shit, like you got some fucking muscles. People been like, oh, should he be James Bond? Da-da-da. I'm like, I wouldn't go that far. But to me, I would rather watch ScarJo and Mahershala and Bailey than Chris Pratt, if I'm gonna be honest.
Well, the ScarJo did this thing in the movie where it's not a defining performance. There's nothing anchoring it, but it works for the character. Like she is kind of vacant.
Yeah, detached from the whole thing.
Exactly. Until she's not. And because she's kind of starts off half smiling and wide-eyed about everything, incredibly cynical, when she becomes not that, it's very noticeable.
Yeah.
It's very noticeable in the film when she starts to take things seriously. If you take a character that's like a big adventure character like Indiana Jones, he takes things so seriously. He finds so much joy in finding a page from a book. No matter where he goes, this is his life. So when he gets into a situation, he has to choose people over archaeology, it really matters. It really matters when he has to make a decision. It doesn't matter that I leave here with the Holy Grail. It matters that my family and everybody else and all of this stuff is safe. The relationship with my dad matters more than me finding the treasure. This matters more than the fucking whatever. And that always happens to him. He very rarely gets the thing, right? He gets something else. So with her, it was like, oh, we care about money. We're running a play. She doesn't let you in. She actually kind of looks like this, but then the family comes around and it changes.
Yeah.
You start to see that she lost somebody before. She doesn't want to lose any more people. And she starts using her soldiering not to benefit herself, but to benefit other people. And then she uses her soldiering to benefit the entire world. She has to make a decision to give up like $10 million, right? To save 8 billion to 3 billion people. How many people are going to have heart disease? It's a killer. It's a silent killer.
I would have still told Bailey, I'm like, yeah, fuck the company, but you still gonna have to break me off just a little bit. Like you know what I'm saying? Just give me a little bit of just
bills don't pay themselves, big homie.
Well, Bailey said, let's just open. I mean, you open source it, everybody get to it. I would have been like, we gotta find a way for me to get like a
little something.
10 cents. You know what I mean? People died.
I feel like the Delgado family, they should get some reparations. They should get some like a little bread too.
I think they doing all right though.
I mean,
they don't need the money. They got love and the dinosaur.
They need at least get them a new sailboat.
They ain't got no weapons on the sailboat. You ain't
that's
like
a bad
harpoon.
Investment.
Don't you have to have a harpoon on the sailboat?
Again,
what the fuck was a harpoon gonna do
against a
I'm
mosasaur?
gonna be honest with you. You're better with the harpoon than you are without it.
Yeah, but not if it's not
Not
gonna
if
do
it flips
nothing.
your boat.
What the fuck are you talking about? Well, how's the harpoon gonna flip the fucking boat?
The dinosaur's gonna flip the boat. What's the harpoon gonna
and
do?
If the dinosaur flip the boat, would you? Let me ask you a question.
Then where's the harpoon?
Let me ask you a question. If the dinosaur flips the boat and you're on top of the hull of the boat, would you rather have a harpoon or not have a harpoon?
At this point, you would have used the harpoon already.
I would rather have the harpoon.
Yeah, you'd rather have the harpoon.
But I don't think the
talking
harpoon
about.
would do much.
Yeah,
You got to bring it though.
because
you gotta bring
guess
it.
what? You look like an asshole shooting one
Yeah,
harpoon
it
at
made
a thing, and it doesn't
What the fuck are
die.
you talking
It
about?
made the swimming dinosaurs more mad. That's
Yeah.
why homie got
Can I
fucking
ask you a
died.
question? What if you hit the dinosaur, right?
Okay.
And the dinosaur is like, you know what? I just don't feel like it.
Absolutely not.
It's not
He
how
could be
works.
that way. He could be like, because you ever, because okay, so let me ask you a question. Like a bee or a wasp. Not gonna kill you, but if you see one, you gonna cross the street, you're gonna be like, I'm not fucking with this nigga right here.
A bee is different
but
than a
what-
dinosaur.
No,
That's
no,
the
no, no.
size
Even-
of a
even
bee.
using-
Same thing.
Even using your analogy, a bee come through, you kind of like, all right, bro, leave me alone. A wasp, I'm not messing with wasps.
There you go.
Wasps
Bro,
are
in this
dangerous.
scenario, you're the bee.
I understand that. You see what I'm saying? Don't you get it? That's the point that I was making? Steve, did you just say that? Don't you get it? That's the entire point?
The bee's not going to do anything, though.
Can we get to the midnight meter? Can we get to the midnight meter? We got a big reveal on Ironheart to get to. Let's get to the fucking midnight meter.
Steve! I was saying if you see a bee, you don't want the inconvenience of the bee, even if the bee sting isn't gonna kill you. Yes, you are the bee when you have the harpoon. The harpoon is your stinger.
Bro.
Although I will say, I don't know if the the mosasaur would recognize that. Oh, he's got a harpoon. Let me back up a little.
He
bit.
did because he fucked up. He fucked over the white boy.
Well, he got his
shit.
lick back. He was like, all right, that's what we
What
doing.
I'm saying
All right,
is
for sure.
once you sting them, I'm taking the harpoon. Fuck y'all, man.
All right, midnight meter. Y'all know what it is. 1 to 12. 1 being the worst. 11 and 12 reserved for game changers. We'll start with the Mint Boys. Jomi, what are you giving Jurassic World Rebirth?
Man, I'm giving this the strongest 7 I can hand out.
Yeah.
I think this movie, again, you guys weren't all into it. I came in thinking like, man, it's gonna be good, and it was good. It was fun. It's exciting. Again, definitely not the most perfect movie, but definitely a fun one, and definitely one that I can't wait to watch again on Peacock someday. So, giving it a 7.
7 as well. Easiest call in my life. Jonathan Bailey is distractingly beautiful in this movie.
Is he more beautiful than Pedro Pascal?
Yes.
It's not even close.
Jesus Christ.
No, he is in this case.
We have to
This
stop
one
acting like
is.
Pedro is a scrub.
Yo, you're
ugly
talking about
scrub.
Pedro.
He's a very
He's
handsome
not-
we
scrub.
got the Pedro line at this point. It's like,
Does he
is
pass the
somebody
Pedro line?
more handsome than Pedro Pascal is the
Does
bar
he pass
now.
the Pedro
And
line?
for-
Is Pedro
and
the
for-
sexiest man in the MCU
And you know what
right now?
you know what the crazy thing is, man?
What?
Pedro Pascal is like beautiful, man.
Yeah, he's
Right,
gorgeous.
yeah.
It's like it's funny that we get on these podcasts and we draw these lines, and then
You speaking French?
everybody has. I can name all of your little takes that you guys refuse to. You don't even fucking. I'll kick you. Like, I'll name you all your. I know all your stubborn takes. All of the takes that you guys.
I stand by every single one.
Exactly. So
No matter how
but
bad
I don't want to fucking do this to Pedro because he's great. And I like him more than these guys. But I'll say one thing about Bailey. Man, I don't like it when these niggas are scientists, bro.
Because
You gotta
I said
have a
this at the beginning of
scientist.
the movie.
Because he's too hot to be a scientist. You can't say.
Remember when Denise Richards was nuclear physicist Christmas
With
Jones?
Boss.
Right.
There are hot scientists out here.
There are hot
There are
scientists.
hot scientists and doctors out
Let's be
there.
real.
Y'all, they definitely are. Okay.
Yes.
And we know them. There's like this marine biologist lady that I saw on this one thing, this black lady. She's a marine biologist. I'm like, God damn, it's just really beautiful. By the way, I say this as a man who's spoken for. I'm not trying to be weird, but she's a beautiful marine biologist lady, black lady. I'm like, yeah, it's great. It's amazing. Great. But these movies,
Right.
these scientists,
Distractingly beautiful.
yeah.
They're
you know what I'm saying?
mogging as they're doing.
We need to do a whole category of you ain't no scientist. Because you
But to be fair, I never see no mercenary that looks like Scarlett Johansson.
yeah, all of it. That's what the whole thing is about.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you look at some of these because I don't know if I ever told you guys this. I follow special forces like YouTubes.
Why?
Oh boy.
For fun? Love of the game?
I like
'cause?
those
You know, you're
guys.
circling the drain of the manosphere right there. That's tough.
No. I'm not circling the drain.
He's in there.
He's in there. Oh, you're in it. Okay.
These guys are the most toxic motherfuckers ever.
Yeah.
They hate everything I love, except for the fact that they'll go, listen, being an operator on the ground in Afghanistan 2009, I gotta tell you the way Special Forces really works. And then I'm like, oh fuck, I'm looking at this shit. I'm sorry. But those guys do have a thing with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're not beautiful, but there's a thing. You can see it.
Sure.
You can see like one of those guys being on the bar, some ladies getting hassled, and they go, hey, leave her alone. more than you once. And you're like, oh shit.
Really?
Yeah, that nigga is the man. But you never, ever, ever. Some of these movies, these people are too good looking, bro. The materialist supposed to have good materialist. Materialist supposed to have good looking people. They got the sexiest fucking dinosaur hunters and mercenaries available. They got the sexiest doctor. The fucking guy from the pharmaceutical company, that guy is ugly. I don't give a fuck what you guys say.
Is it because he's ugly in spirit?
No.
He's not an ugly man.
That is not an ugly man.
Because he's
not
not
ugly in real life. But what I'm saying is, in actuality, that person doesn't look good.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That guy doesn't look like that. These people, I don't know why as I get older, these people look too good in these movies.
I will say, if we're being realistic, people who work for pharmaceuticals, especially in sales, tend to be hot. So he should be super.
Let me say, I'm looking up CEOs of pharmaceutical companies, and none of them look like this.
Not to diss nobody, because I can name names.
No. I'm not talking about the CEOs. I'm talking about salespeople at pharmaceutical companies. They hire hot people.
Wait, they hire hot people to sell pharmaceuticals.
Yes.
Right.
That's not what he was doing.
True.
Yeah.
He was a high up. I can start naming people that come on these Sunday shows. I don't want to start naming names.
Let's please don't.
They're passable looking, but the only thing that's my biggest
Passable looking is insane.
Yeah, I'm passable looking.
No, you're a beautiful black man.
Hey,
man.
look,
you're not passable looking.
I'm passable looking.
This is negative self-talk now.
It's not negative self-talk.
Is this because you did the side by side?
No. I can show you.
We respect the journey. We respect the journey.
There's a picture of me with 2 white women where I look ridiculously hot. Hold on, I can show you this picture. Hold on.
Are you going to throw this up on the screen?
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah. There's a picture of me with 2 white women.
Jesus
Christ. Wait, what?
But I'm the milk merchant. Crazy.
So this was at a TMZ party.
Oh boy.
And there's a picture of me with 2 white women where I look.
Who are these white women?
These are look at that.
Let's pass it around.
Wow. That's my best picture. That's my best picture.
That's a meme right there. It's like,
you look like Tyrese Ahlman.
That's me. That's a picture of me with 2 white women. Hey, send this to Aleya. Hey, send this to Aleya.
Yeah, that's so nice.
Hey, send this to Aleya.
Wow.
That's at a TMZ party. Send this to Aleya.
Wow.
Aleya.
He knows. He looks like he knows.
Aleya
He knows.
Jade on this.
Van said, if it ain't snowing, I ain't going.
They asked Aleya.
This needs to be on the screen, bro. Show the fans.
that's insane.
Dog.
Like,
Wow.
Aleya, look at that picture. They're like, I look good in that picture, do I not? Like, well, right, it's a good picture.
It's
over him. That's crazy.
That's-
Why does this look like it's from the show Lucifer?
But look at it though. But like that's me. That's so look. So look.
This is AI.
It's
Wow.
not AI.
Space Tune.
So I'll explain the picture, okay?
Mr.
I'll
2%
explain the picture.
over here.
So that's a TMZ party. Those 2 ladies worked at TMZ. They wanted to take up. We're co-workers. One of the
right.
girls, the girl to the right, works for Tucker Carlson now.
The one that's looking at you like that?
Yeah, Lexi.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, but these are cool people. These are cool people. They were co-workers. They worked at TMZ with me. They're cool people, like nice people. And like, we're taking pictures at the party, and then that's the picture. The picture is of me. Hey, it's me.
Right.
I support anybody making a meme of that.
They worked with me.
It's the craziest photo.
It is the same. So are you telling me right now that if I was in a picture with Mallory and Joanna, you would be like, oh my God, milk merchant. They're co-workers. We're taking a picture. You have been in pictures with Mallory.
You know what that, okay.
I could tell.
Just throw the audience. You decide. The audience you decide. That photo was crazy. That photo was
Hey, I'm
crazy.
talking about this work party. By the way, I get it. But you guys are
what that looks like. Come on.
See, this the problem is the lead gets buried. It's not about Aleya, Jade, okay. It's not about how crazy I look.
It's not
between the milk. It's not about that. Because those are nice ladies who are my co-workers. And I will take a picture with me, Amanda Dobbins, Mallory, me, Joe, Mal.
Yeah.
You know, that happens. But Do I not look good in that picture? Ladies, be
I have
honest.
determined that it's all neck. It's something about the neck in that one.
What do you mean?
Look at just your neck. That's why I think it's hot.
It's not, but it's look at my smile.
Dog, Atlanta, go, bro.
Oh, you know what? I will say that my skin.
neck is crazy.
All neck. My skin wasn't the best. All neck. Are y'all trying to be sexual? See, this is the problem.
All neck.
See, this is the deal. I put myself out there for the podcast.
Yes, you do. You do.
I'll give
I
you another
appreciate
picture.
it.
I'll give you guys another picture.
Oh, no.
It's another one. No white women in this one. This is for Aleya and Jade. I've been holding on to this for so long. I need the validation.
Is there less neck in this one?
There's no neck because I'm wearing a turtleneck, and I picked a turtleneck picture just so I could show
A
them
milk chick
this.
fit.
Like, what do you, Aleya? What about that
Oh my
one?
god.
See,
Wait,
we need to see it. We need to see it.
Oh, I've seen this one on Google. This is
Oh
good
yeah.
one.
Oh, this is a good one.
That's the good one.
This is a very good one.
Yeah,
This is
Nick,
a
you're-
great
you're
suit. It's a
very
great turtleneck. It's a
handsome
great
man.
fit.
You know what?
That's
No,
very
this
good.
is great, but I will say you got very youth minister vibes.
You need to change.
No,
You needed a
no,
change.
I'm not
bro.
gonna go
well,
that far.
I didn't. At that point, I wasn't doing the chain thing.
Mhm.
But you guys, that was such a moment in my life. I made the Route 100.
Right.
And so I went to Hugo Boss, got a whole Hugo Boss fit. Went
It's
out there,
good.
did the whole thing. It was
Yeah.
my first
No, it
time on
looks
the Route
good.
100. I made
Nah,
it twice.
that's the one.
Two-time
right
Route
there.
Yeah,
100
that's
on
the
Reed.
the
What
pencil
I'm
thin
saying
mustache is really pencil.
What I'm saying is, passable looking doesn't mean not good looking. It just means I'm not overwhelmingly handsome to the point to where you're gonna be like, why is this nigga on the podcast?
Right.
I look like I should be on the podcast. When you look at some of these other people, they not no doctors.
Like
Yeah.
Jonathan
Bailey,
He
you
don't-
don't need to be looking at dinosaurs.
He did. I mean, I'm sure there might be.
'Cause-
You know what?
This is true because when they put podcasters in movies,
You
they
can
cast
tell.
people that look like they are.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, all right, I see what you're doing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not in the real world. I might be, but like in the movie star world, let's face it, the nigga is ugly. Okay,
Sorry.
so let's do this. Let's do this. I would like for us to find the best looking paleontologist alive.
Mm,
We should
Real
do a-
world?
Real world.
okay.
Real world.
Okay.
If you guys out there know of sexy paleontologists, which by the way, if they're gonna be sexy doctors,
Hmm.
then the paleontologists are probably gonna be the sexiest, right?
If y'all can find us a thick paleontologist,
Find us.
See,
we will shout you out on the podcast.
If y'all can, I want the midnight fans, riders,
Find
moms,
us.
find us the best fucking sexy paleontologist you can. Go find
male
them.
or female?
Male or female?
Male or female.
Pedro Pascal of
Pedro Pascal,
paleontology.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Jonathan Bailey. What's his name? Jonathan Bailey.
Yeah.
Just like overall sexy people
Was,
in professions you would never expect
Was
them to
Bryce
be in.
Dallas Howard a paleontologist?
What was she?
No, she was.
She was a business-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thick redhead. I have a whole theory. I will find
We
it.
already know about your redhead.
like
TikTok beat you to it. It's there.
You
Christina
can't even
Hendricks?
name 5 thick famous redheads.
Well, I could.
He absolutely
He could.
I
He
could,
absolutely could.
But like some of them are going to be suicide girls, and you guys are just going to judge me. Everything gets judged. It can't be.
I don't judge. What are you talking about?
So what I'm saying is, I try to show you guys a nice picture, and what is it?
That's
now?
not what you
Van
showed us.
Is between two white women. Even Aleya and Jade, who are expected to be on my side,
sold you
I
out.
will
All
say
neck.
also,
Sold you out.
we just have to say, Aleya usually is the conscience. That was not very positive. The all
Not
neck
at all.
was not very
All neck.
all neck. is
Should we
crazy.
not? Did we
Crazy.
miss when I said he's a very handsome man? I did
The
compliment
first
We didn't
two
even
words
hear
I
it.
mean,
out of your mouth.
you led with
were all
neck.
neck.
All neck is
By
crazy.
that I meant like your
By the
neck
way,
was
I
really
also- I give this
confident in
movie a
that.
7 on the
Yes,
Midnight
girl.
Meter, by the way.
I give it 7 as well.
Sevens across the board.
Sevens across the board.
7. I give this movie a 7 on the Midnight Meter. But we have to find, because I don't think they out there, bro.
No, they're
I think they're out there.
Paleontologists?
I'm sure they're beautiful, gorgeous
I think
scientists.
our fans can find us some very hot paleontologists.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying very hot, but just before we move off this, do you guys have any idea like how good looking these movie stars are? What I mean is like they are good looking, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you go to the if we're all at a party, like everybody on it, we're all, you go to a party, you're like, yeah, I think that guy is they're too good looking.
Right.
And that's the one thing that kind of, the older I get, I want to see that paleontologist role, the Jonathan Bailey role, that's a Steve Buscemi role, bro.
Dang.
I'm sorry, bro. That's a Steve Buscemi. That's Charlie Day.
Shea Wiggum.
Charlie Day.
Shea Wiggum would crush it as that paleontologist.
Shea Wiggum would actually is the right answer.
Y'all, I have so many thoughts about Shea Wiggum, bro.
We got time.
He's awesome.
I got so many thoughts about him.
Good thoughts.
They're kind of interesting. I don't know if they're good.
Oh, no. Don't do this to my guy, bro.
I like them.
Yeah.
We're not about to dish Shea
Do
Wiggum.
you know what a remora fish is?
What is a remora fish?
Look it up.
Okay, so how do we spell that?
Remora fish?
Wait, are they the ones that like suck on the... Do not compare Shea Wiggum to a remora fish. How fucking dare you?
That is not... What are you talking about?
So
All right, man. All right, nah.
So Shea
hell
Wiggum-
nah.
This is absolutely
Have
foul.
some shame. Respect my guy.
A fish that looks like that? What?
that's not. I'm not talking about looks. I'm talking about function.
Huh?
Let's get to Ironheart. This is getting very...
This is-
this-
this
I have
is-
a
I don't
whole
like this
Shea
disrespectful right
Wiggum.
now.
I don't like the
is
tenor of this
over.
conversation. I don't like the tenor of this conversation.
I
Tom
don't
Cruise,
know.
Shea Wiggum. Vin Diesel, Shea Wiggum. Brad Pitt, Shea Wiggum. Big, beautiful, ocean-dwelling fish, full of wonder, remora fish next to them.
He's a character
He's a
actor.
character actor that's in a lot of movies.
Character actor that's in a lot of movies, but when you see big, beautiful, number one on the call sheet, Hollywood star, here comes
This is the
Shea Wiggum.
Fuck
Nah,
this is the most
nah,
disingenuous
this is
thing
the
you've
worst
ever
take
said.
you've ever had. This is the worst thing you've ever had. I knew F1 was going to be that gas when Shea Wiggum was in there, bro.
Yeah.
I knew what I was
I
like.
was
yeah.
waiting for him to come back.
Me, dude. Let's not spoil F1.
Wait,
for people.
really quick. Then I promise we'll get to Ironheart. Just off the top of the head, Midnight Meter F1.
Oh, brother. Oh, man. That's
I could make a serious argument for a 10.
I'm saying a
10?
10. I'm saying a 10.
I don't think it's a 10.
I think it's a 10.
I was gonna go
Because
8.
I think
like,
I'm
a
gonna go,
strong
like,
8.
Because
I
I
can
think
make a
Top Gun Maverick
serious-
is like an 11.
Yes.
I can make a serious argument for a 10. I could.
I will say, here's the thing. I can make that argument if you forget about like the script. I think the driving sequences, the stunts, everything that is filmed on that track, that's damn near a 12 to me. Game changing.
I'm gonna go 9, but I could make a serious argument for a 10.
I had so much fun.
It's just
See it in IMAX.
Oh,
Seeing this in
dude.
IMAX was fucking insane.
I saw it in IMAX 70 City Walk Auto.
Nice.
Then I went to have crab nachos.
Ooh.
This is the second time you brought up crab nachos this week.
Is that true?
Yes.
Yes, it is. When we were over at the other building.
Yeah.
What did I say about them?
You
Did
were
you
like,
like them?
guys, me, Kalika, someone else, we got crab nachos.
What's the nacho to crab ratio? Is it a good ratio?
And
I would
real
imagine?
crab or
That's a good
imitation crab?
question.
It's got to
I
be
don't
real
know.
crab.
I'm not sure. This was at the rooftop of the Edition Hotel.
I'd imagine that's real
We
crab.
should go there. We should go there.
Let's get crab.
Let's go get
Let's
crab
go get
nachos.
crab.
Do you mind me asking the price point of said crab
Nigga
nacho?
broke. What is
No,
wrong?
I'm just because it'll probably determine whether or not it's real.
Oh, my God.
I can't remember.
Okay.
But I spent like, I
We're
paid.
asking our man Van
I
if he
spent
can
like-
afford some
I'm not
crab
pocket
nachos.
watching on the thing. I just want to know if it was real
you
crab
are-
or not.
You
Steve
are
question.
kind of pocket watching.
All right, Ironheart.
Ironheart.
Yeah, go for it, Steve.
Oh, wait,
Take it
are
away.
you guys set me up. We
What?
got to do a Midnight Manifest.
We got spoilers.
We
Yeah.
got spoilers.
We have to do all of that?
We don't have to.
Okay, so this was, spoilers.
I'm trying to do this the right way.
We don't gotta do anything if we
by
meet
the
our
way,
protocols.
by the way, this has nothing to do with how I felt about Ironheart because you guys are about to be surprised about something.
Okay.
I don't think so.
So spoilers for all of the MCU stuff.
We're getting ready to talk about Ironheart. You're listening to a reaction podcast. The spoilers are coming.
Charles gets into the Midnight Manifest.
All right, this is your Midnight Manifest for the final 3 episodes of Ironheart. They're all directed by Angela Barnes and written by Amir Solomon, Christian Martinez, and Shanaka Haj. Riri's life comes undone after the events of episode 3. Ezekiel Stain is added to the world and arrested after the authorities find his mesh at the crime scene of the Hood's last heist. Suspicious of Riri's involvement in John's death, the Hood breaks Ezekiel out of jail and helps implant him with technology that can kill Riri. Desperate for help, Riri finally turns to her mom, and the two travel to a mutual friend and her daughter Zelma, who inform Riri that the Hood is demonic and magical in origin, but give no guidance on how to destroy it. The Hood's henchmen and Ezekiel fight Riri at White Castle, but Ironheart's old friend can't bear to kill her, and instead destroys her iron suit. Alongside her mom and friends, Riri builds a new suit that's powered by magic, but since magic comes with a cost, the Natalie AI is destroyed. The young hero then takes down Ezekiel and the Hood with her new armor, but before she can go home, she's met by the Hood's real owner, Mephisto. The devil offers Riri a bargain that she takes him up on, and the real Natalie is brought back from the dead. That has been your Midnight Manifest for Ironheart. Take it away, Vin.
All right. So, obviously, our opinions on Ironheart, people felt like we're a little harsh.
It was very controversial. People were upset.
Controversy. Prince. Now, that changed nothing in the way I went into the last 3 episodes of Ironheart. But let me tell you what I wanted. What I wanted was the show to feel important or not important. When I'm watching a show, I don't want to feel like I'm watching stuff on screen. Like, I don't want to feel like it's a theme park ride. Because you go to a theme park ride, all of the trepidation comes from you. The ride is supposed to work. Right? If anything, if there's any drama on the ride, then the ride is malfunctioning.
Okay.
All of the nervousness, all of the tension, all of that comes from you. That comes from your reaction to stuff that's supposed to work on the ride. I don't like to watch TV shows like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch a television show where all of the work is being done by me. Like, I'm connecting with these characters because they're familiar to me. I'm connecting with these situations because they're familiar to me. I'm connecting with all of these things because they're familiar to me. I like it when all of the things are familiar to me, and it's necessary that all of the things be familiar to me to have representation and to tell stories that, but I want the tension, the twists and the turns and all of that stuff to come from the show, not come from me recalling what I've been through in my past and all of that stuff. That sits me down. It doesn't get me to the end of the ride.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like Ironheart didn't really have a lot of that stuff in the first 3 episodes. The last 3 episodes, there were things that did not work, but what did work, to me, what did work is the character of Riri Williams. It worked because she started to live. Her world opened up. She discovered this magic. She discovered the stakes of what it is that she was doing, and she became morally ambiguous in a more direct way, really in a compelling and daring way, in a more compelling and daring way than I've seen a lot of Marvel protagonists in a while. She made some choices that I did not think she would make. Obviously, when we talk about the end of the show, she kind of lives in this in-between that made the character a little bit more compelling. Now, once again, there are things that didn't work. The Obadiah Stane, the Zeke Sane stuff kind of didn't work for me, right? That whole character kind of doesn't work. Almost made me feel bad for Alden Ehrenreich, whatever the guy's name is, because I'm like, Jesus Christ. I know he's been in some other things that have kind of worked, but I'm like, God damn, when people see this nigga, sometimes he always seems miscast or the character is off kilter. Alden Reich is his name. What is how you say his name? Ehrenreich. All right. So whatever. But I watched the last 3 episodes, all of that to say that, and I was into it. It was like working. The Mephisto reveal worked for me. Like, I think he has a handle on that character, like, already. Sacha Baron Cohen, for some reason, it's to the point to where I almost wanted 2 or 3 more episodes just to see what kind of trouble she's gotten herself into.
Mhm.
Can I say I agree. I think that the things that really worked for me are everything that kind of came in the back half of this season. So much so that like I really would have wanted pretty much everything that happens in the finale. I wish this is where we started. I wish that this is kind of the jumping off point for really throwing Riri into something that actually could test her character and her environment around her in a way that is infinitely more compelling than the back half of this season. Everything that kind of follows from a later reveal about the hood, the fact that it's demonic, everything with the magic suit, everything plot-wise that happens, I'd say in the last 2 episodes, I really liked as something, as a stepping off point for a compelling arc for a character. Only to kind of end at its most interesting point for the show, I think is just a little bit more disappointing.
I think the ending makes sense, honestly.
Yeah.
But to combine both of your points, I think the show in these back 3 episodes works way better than it did in the first 3. I think in the first 3 they're trying to like connect us to this big world, and here are all of Riri's people, and here's what she's doing, here's how she's trying to become a different person after leaving MIT. And it's kind of like it falls way flat, at least to me. And I think in these first episodes, it's carried by, oh my God, the hood is this crazy magical thing. I have to figure out what it is. He might come out for my family. I have to stop that. That is way more interesting, infinitely more interesting than her having to steal, maybe
Make a heist crew. Or whatever.
like none of that works. And so for me, if the show had started, episode 4 shows up to Chicago. There's this dude with this weird hood thing. I need to figure out how that is and see if I can either channel that or I need to stop it. That would have made the show way more interesting over the first 3 episodes. But the way it ended, the last people were gassing last episode. I didn't see it like that, but I thought, to your point, Sacha Baron Cohen as Mephisto. It's crazy to say it, but he's actually here and it worked. It worked. And so we'll see where it goes going forward, that character and for Riri in particular, but I think the show found itself in these last 3 episodes to a point where I'm not like, when we were talking about it with the Midnight Meter, but I think it kind of found itself there in a way that I think kind of works, honestly.
I think these last 3 episodes were definitely better than the first 3. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the Mephisto of it all, because I agree with you guys. That final scene between Riri and Mephisto, I think, is the thing that works about this show. It was shot way better. The chemistry between them. I think the narrative, I agree with you, Steve, where I'm just like, kind of wish the show was just about that. I thought Mephisto was way more interesting than the hood. I thought Sacha Baron Cohen's acting and his the way he's playing that role, I'm like, oh, this is really fascinating. I think the moment still felt a little like the MCU jumping the shark to me, because the Mephisto reveal felt so rushed and almost tacked on, and it came too late a little bit. And I'm still trying to wrap my head around. I'm just like, is this just a problem with late stage MCU stuff where it's kind of the most interesting ideas, whether it's the Thunderbolts becoming the new Avengers or hearing Blade's voice in Internals or all this other stuff. It's sometimes the most interesting stuff that they have comes in the last 5 minutes, and I'm just like, no, just do that. Because now I left this wondering, I'm like, I don't know if we're ever going to see Mephisto again.
You definitely will.
Would we?
I think, yeah.
Where?
That's their problem to figure out.
I mean, because
if
we're, I don't think Ironheart is performing like gangbusters. So I actually don't know. By the end of this, I was like, wait, are we getting a second season of Ironheart under this new kind of Marvel regime where we're making less Disney Plus shows? Because I'm like, if we're not, I was like, that's a really weird beat. Riri, basically signing her soul over to the devil. I'm like, that's a really weird beat to end a character that we might not see again on.
I mean, probably not, but at the same time, I don't think, at least for her character in particular, you have the Hawkeye, you have Miss Marvel. Eventually, they're supposed to do the Champions, Young Avengers, and so I think that's obviously where it was going to. Now, when you have she's also got the devil in her ear, That's interesting. Like, where does he fit into that is the bigger question, I think. But ultimately, I think for all these like legacy characters, that was always the goal, to get to that like little young champion team up type beat. So
I think there are a couple other things outside of Mephisto that deepened Riri's character a little bit in the last 3 episodes. Number one, the fight that she had with her entire crew, where you saw how resourceful she was, and when you saw her wherewithal. To me, that type of stuff on screen is the type of stuff that builds a character. Like, it builds a character when you kind of see what the character is willing to go through in order to achieve a goal, or when you see how the character can achieve a goal. I'm like, oh, this is the capability of Riri. Throughout the first 3 episodes, they didn't do a great job to me establishing how formidable she was. Like, why it was that she mattered. When Stark builds the Mach 1, you go, okay, you put this guy in the cave with a bunch of scraps, and he'll come out with a weapon. And that weapon will allow him to defeat this entire, essentially 10 rings, defeat this entire group of terrorists, and then fly away. And then he flies away, the machine, comes apart. However, it got him out of the situation that he was in. For her, and I think this is a problem that some of these characters might be having, she had the Wakandans with her. I mean, she obviously had built something that was amazing, right? But she had the Wakandans with her. They helped. It's almost like a little Spidey, Tom Holland situation. Then she comes back here, and she's just looking for so much help. She's looking for so much investment from other people. I don't have the money, so I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do this. I'm like, well, when do we learn what kind of badass Riri is? They're telling us. They're telling us. They're telling us. But I think when she had to go up against the people that she knew the most, that was a really awesome scene to me. That was really awesome because she was able to beat all of them, kind of, except for Stain, and then get away, and she was in real, actual peril. And I felt wanting her to get out of it, right? The Mephisto stuff really worked for me, and the reason why I did is because it just deepened the world. Everything on the show felt surface level until that. It just deepened the world.
I thought the Mephisto stuff and the Carmartage stuff.
And the magic stuff.
The magic stuff.
It just deepened the world.
That takes it to another level where I think the difference between a show like this and Miss Marvel is Miss Marvel deepens the world because this show tries to do the same thing Miss Marvel does. Look, here's Riri and all her people, but you don't really care about them that much. Whereas Miss Marvel, you're like, her dad, her mom, her brother, her friends. You're like, I love these people. God forbid anything happened to them. Outside of that, you're kind of like, eh. Whereas this show, when they introduce these people, you're kind of like, okay, cool. But then as soon as you start getting into you got the friend who's out there practicing magic and they're doing witch stuff and sorcery stuff. You're like, oh, I recognize this. I understand. And maybe that's what it is. It's just this. You're interested in this. But it just felt like, oh, I understand this world way more than I ever did in the first 3 episodes.
And it feels like that fundamental screen play type of arc where we're like, okay, now we rebuild the team around these new sets of rules that the world now deepened gives us. Because we have magic. We have that cool seance where we magicify the suit.
Yeah.
And it costs us the AI friend. And now we have to deal with that. All of those stakes feel a lot more reinforced, not because of those prior 3 episodes, because we didn't really have that much to glom onto, but we saw that those characters interact in meaningful ways in these latter 3 that actually felt a bit more endearing. Obviously, it still didn't probably make a home run for us, at least in my case, but it seemed to really kind of come into its own in these final 3.
I mean, you were talking about Riri, and I think what I struggled with too was I felt like the back 3 episodes introduced this idea that Riri is not as heroic as she thinks or we think, and even the Hood says at one point
she's not at all.
Not at all. But there were moments where I'm like, Riri is doing kind of abhorrent shit. Where it's when Ezekiel gets arrested, he's outed to the public.
Your normal hero goes, I'll turn myself in right away.
And she doesn't do that. Which I was just is interesting. But then you add on top of that, of course the man was trying to kill her, but a man was suffocating and she decided to get the fuck out of there. And because of that, he died. Same thing kind of like with the Natalie AI stuff, where her love interest, Natalie's brother, is just like, yo, this is fundamentally fucked up. You made an AI of my sister and you didn't tell me. And I was just like, okay, this is all interesting in terms of just like the show kind of locating that there actually isn't that much that differentiates the Hood or Parker Robbins from Riri. But the reason the final Natalie reveal didn't work to me is I'm just like, okay, how do I root for a character who, like, at this point actually has not taken any accountability for any of this? You already had your love interest say, I don't feel okay with you resurrecting my dead sister. And then to redo it again, I'm just like, oh, she's a little sociopath in an iron suit. And that's cool if that is like 100% the dark way that the TV show wants me to take it in. But it seems like they kind of still want me to think that Riri is a little heroic. And I'm like, no, I'm like, this is.
Well, first of all, number one, I don't know that you're supposed to be rooting for her. I think she's the protagonist of the show. So you certainly wanted, interesting, you certainly wanted her to, by the end of it, I don't know that I cared whether or not she won or not. Two reasons. One, I like the Hood as a character, but not as a villain. I thought Anthony Ramos did a good job portraying the Hood. I thought the Hood was interesting.
It made a lot of sense, his choices, when he was doing the scenes with Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah,
I was like that.
It's like, now we get why he's acting the way he's acting.
I thought the Hood was interesting. I enjoyed the Hood. As a villain, I don't know that I had to see the Hood lose. And I think sometimes this is a larger problem with some of the shows, to where the hero is so flawed that you don't really wholly invest, and the villain is so sympathetic that you don't wholly hate them. You watch the Hood like lose a friend. You saw that the dad treated him like shit. So you're like, I can see why this person is kind of doing this shit, right? Like, I can see why this is happening. Mm-hmm. With Riri, though, I think what happened with me was at the end, I was like, I don't really like her. How interesting. And she has an opportunity in every different case to like stand up and be, I'm Peter Parker, I have to do what's right. And she just doesn't really take it.
Is that okay? Because the thing that I was like,
it's a
choice.
I liked it. I liked it just because I was like, oh. So at the end, I thought the scene between her and Mephisto at the end was fantastic, because it's fantastic to me from a narrative standpoint, because it's taking us back from what's happening. And I'm thinking a possible future. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, shit, if you're given that choice, how do you say no? Like what's the downside? She asked, what do I have to give up? And he won't answer the question. He goes, nothing that you'll miss.
He said the same thing to our guy.
But that to me was a little bit like, if the narrative of the entire show was she originally took the devil's bargain from the Hood, and it is like, in a normal story, it would be like, okay, we need to get you to a point where you realize taking a deal from the devil is not what you're supposed to do. You should look in and interrogate this more.
Yeah.
What it's saying now is like, oh no, there was a bigger devil and I took the deal again, and like I resurrected my dead friend again. And I'm just like, oh, like narratively, I agree with you. I'm like, that's interesting, but it did leave me with the like, oh, this is like a dog like chasing its fucking tail, where it's like, she didn't really learn anything over the 6 episodes. She's just redoing the same shit over.
No. Hold on. I want to get you guys in. She learned stuff. It's just the stuff that she learned didn't change her. When you say, and oftentimes, I like that a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I can make an argument that after a lifetime of doing nothing but making weapons, Tony Stark finally goes, I don't want to make weapons anymore. That just doesn't happen like that.
But I mean, would you say that he didn't learn until he stopped? Until his behavior changed?
Well, until he got captured and was put in the cage.
And his behavior changed.
That's fine,
but here's the thing, there were consequences.
Yeah.
I understand, but there definitely were consequences for him, right? And there were consequences that he cared about. I always like it when that happens to characters. I always like it when characters, where some big event changes. But I do sometimes go, like I live in the real world and it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
I don't really see people learn, particularly until there's no way out of it, especially if they don't suffer, like you guys said, huge consequences for it. If I'm looking at it, when I'm watching that last scene, if she just goes, you know what? No, Natalie. I would be like, would you really do that? Like, that's
Right.
how I would have asked.
And,
I was like, would you would have done
that's
that?
why I so really wanted this to be like a starting point or even a midpoint for what we see from Riri, because bringing herself this low to do this again and make this kind of choice really needs to come to a head as to what she actually gave up and how this can really negatively affect her life. And we don't get to see that, and we may or may not get to for a while at least. And it's a very interesting way to suspend a character where she is now and to see not only the repercussions of her choices, but to her ultimately, hopefully, walking those things back and changing for the better.
I mean, but I also think it's like some of the shit that happened in this, I was like, the framing of this is a little dangerous. And I feel like the writers should have been a little bit more careful. And like the AI plot point, I think that was like terrible. Like, I think like, obviously this was written before I think AI has gotten to the point where it's like on an existential threat on a lot of levels. But there was a moment where I was like, okay, this is weird, where we finally get the scene where the brother is just like, how dare you do this to my sister? And then it's very, very quickly like swept under the rug, and everybody's like, oh, we guess like AI and replicating like dead corpses is okay as long as they're friendly enough. And I'm like,
no, Jarvis is that. Jarvis is exactly that.
I think there's a little like
it's not emulated from a real person, but
yes, it is.
No. Like, so in the MCU, like he did name Jarvis after Edwin Jarvis. Right?
No,
but it's not his. No. He's not actually. It's not actually him. Like, he's not pretending that it's him. He named it after him.
No, it's his voice. It's Jarvis. Like Jarvis, the program, it's the same thing. Jarvis.
It's definitely not the same thing.
It doesn't have a form, but wait, stop. Hold on, real quick. We gotta get through this. So in Endgame,
it's named after for familiarity.
Yeah,
right. It's just like I had a
like,
brother
this
named
is the guy
Jarvis
that took
going
care of
up.
my dad.
Here's the guy who's taking care of me, Jarvis. It's the same thing. It's like not like actual like, hey, what's going on?
He's not emulating the man into an AI.
Right. I'm not trying to be like a party, but it was just a moment where I'm just like, oh, this is such a fraught subject, and for it to kind of just be like, oh, we're resurrecting this black girl twice, and it to kind of be kind of like thrown off, like, that's just kind of what happened. I was like, that same thing, I already kind of brought it up, the Ezekiel Stain shit, when she's fighting like Ezekiel Stain, and she's like, are you still mad at me? I'm like,
what do you think?
Really?
Of course he's still mad at you.
And I get part of it's like character shit where she just really does not give a fuck. But there was a moment where I'm just like, wait, am I supposed to like not feel like it's fucked up that she literally ruined this? Like, she's ruining multiple people's lives, and at no point is she ever kind of like, and I think that is the narrative of the story where she's like, what does she keep saying? Like, well, they're like, why do you keep building this iron suit? Because I can. Well, at some point I do want to like some type of, but just because you can build something and do something doesn't mean you should.
But right, and this is why I'm so interested in the deal with Mephisto that she has now, because a person with that level of mentality, of course, would take a deal like this, not even thinking about those consequences.
Well,
but it just ends so abruptly. You're a little bit like,
you're like, oh wow, so she's just here now.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, I guess for me, and I kind of, for me, this is kind of where I fall on it. All of these characters, to me, these characters don't get interesting until they get morally complicated.
Agreed.
They never do. So Captain America has his friend who's like a mass murderer, right? He's gonna protect his pal. Over his buddy that he went to war with, caught between two friends, Captain America will do whatever he can to protect Bucky. He doesn't make the pragmatic decision on behalf of the entire world. Like, Batman won't kill the Joker. Like, it's all of these characters sometimes make decisions based upon their own morality and the way that they look at things.
Mhm.
To me, the interesting part of that is how those decisions affect the world that they're around, because these heroes are still growing and evolving. But they only get interesting when they do something that surprises me.
Yeah.
To where I go, oh, I didn't see that coming. Like for a long time, we dealt with Stark and his PTSD, and he was just doing stupid shit.
Mhm.
He was creating murder robots. He was just doing stuff. And that to me, the schism between Cap's view and Tony's view, it solidified the midpoint of the MCU to me. Because you had two people that were being incredibly selfish. And it was about the way that they looked at the world. And it wasn't so much those characters that were dueling, it was those worldviews that were dueling. And if I'm looking at a little girl from Chicago who is still finding herself, or a young woman from Chicago who's still finding herself and has dealt with that type of trauma, like I could see her making a deal with the devil.
No. So that's not where I'm arguing with. I agree with that. I think that is the most interesting thing about the show. But if we take Iron Man as a comp, there is a price paid at the end of Age of Ultron for trying to put a suit of armor around the world in building Ultron. It comes at the cost of the Avengers. There's a cost at the end of Civil War for Iron Man and Cap's fight. You know what I mean? And by the end of these 6 episodes, it was just like, oh, there wasn't really like.
The story's not finished.
No, I understand that, but there has to be something where it's like, oh well, her family loves her again, and they're just like, hey, you killed some people, you stole a bunch of shit from a bunch of CEOs and everything, but who cares? It's fine, swept under the rug. Hey, we know that like Ezekiel Stain, you ruined his life, and he's just like, I'll be back, and you're just there are levels where I'm just like, so there really weren't any major repercussions in your life for you running around like a maniac for an entire month. It's almost just kind of like, oh, well, we're all friends again. And I'm like, I think the more interesting version of the story is, wait, what happens if our love interest is just like, oh, actually, we're not good. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. What happens if her mom is just like, wait, you got someone killed? I'm not going to reward you with a car. This is like something where it's just like, oh, now you're killing people just like your father figure and my husband was taken away. Like there's not that cause and effect. It's more so like, we just need to get this episode along. And I feel like I think that would have deepened Riri's world a lot more.
The brother thing is the thing that like really is my sticking point, because again, when she first sees Natalie, she's like, yo, this is crazy. I'm not really messing with this, the whole thing. What would it be like for your brother to see you? And I know she's like having like a panic attack in the moment, but when Natalie shows up to her brother, she's like, hey, this is kind of cool, right? We got my sister back. And I was like, you know that he doesn't like this. Like you know this. You're like reaching for something that is not there. Like, huh?
And I feel like it's kind of the show's like responsibility, or at least the story's responsibility, to really interrogate how much like debt that she's putting herself into with all of these choices that she's making. The bill has yet to come due in whatever form the story takes. Obviously the story's not finished, but to rely on, okay, a potential season 2 or something showing up in a movie or kicking the can that far down the road for something that's really suspending this character in a lot of something that like the chickens are coming home to roost for her in some way. Yeah. It feels a little, it leaves me wanting.
I agree. First of all, I'm completely acquiescing to the point that most people are going to agree with you guys. I feel like that's probably going to be
maybe not.
Big.
Oh, I think most people are. We might be in
no. What I mean is, I can see it. But what if, for me, it's kind of like, this is a bigger question. It's always interesting to me to talk about what we wanted from a story. Mm-hmm. Right? It's like, well, I want to see her like suffer some consequences, and so we're not there yet. Mm-hmm. We're not there yet. Like that's not where we are. Like where we could go. This whole story could be about Riri, sort of negotiating who she is with who she wants to be. and like how she get this, and maybe how she gets there. You know, like it. Has there ever been a story for you to where somebody deepened their antisocial, or they deepened their villainous arc, and it ends like that to where you were like, they did that well?
Yes, but what I will say is those stories need to be more artistically told, and this was not artistically told.
Say more.
This was rushed, where it's like I think there's a lot of TV shows where Breaking Bad is a perfect example of a character who's not learning anything. Same thing with Mad Men. Same thing with a lot of these shows that we love, where it's like the part of them being an anti-hero is not only do they become more evil over time, they really never learn their lesson. That's not my issue. My issue with Ironheart was that I think what happens with Mephisto and Riri is so interesting, but where it fails is you're saying, well, what I said earlier, she meets the devil, and essentially this is the second devil she's met in a month or two, where there's no larger thought process. There's no like, who are you? What does this cost? What is it going to cost everybody around me? She takes this man at his word. And I'm like, you just took Parker Robbins at his word, and you realize how much the toll
Not
was.
only that, yeah, exactly. You saw what happened to him when he took the similar deal from the guy you're sitting across from, and you're like, sign me up.
And she hasn't. And I think one of the failings where I was just like, to me, the Mephisto and Riri scene didn't feel earned, because I'm like, all right, this is a woman who, like, at the beginning of the series is like, doesn't know much about magic, is very much like, magic is not even fucking real. What are you talking about? And by the time she sits down with Mephisto, she's not really interrogating, like, wait, how did you make my suit disappear? Like, who are you? What does any of this entail? We're in a new dimension. It's like she takes everything at face value. And for me, it works for Parker Robbins because the story is telling us he is someone who is deeply upset and angry and greedy, and he can't see in front of his face. And so is Riri that character. But by the end of everything she's put her family through and all the panic attacks and how afraid she is, I just needed a little bit more of being like, wait. So, what is this actual deal?
Does Riri have, to you guys, a moral compass at all?
It's a bad one, if she does.
So all of our heroes normally have a moral compass. And part of the evolution of our heroes, of our relationship with these heroes, is either watching them develop it or watching them contend with it, right? We get the feeling that Captain America was just born good. He's a good guy. Small guy.
Solid dude.
Fights, good dude. He's good. We don't necessarily know why he's good.
Right.
Like, we don't learn very much about, I mean, at least in these movies, we don't learn very much about his upbringing or all of that stuff or what makes him, but he's just a good guy.
Intrinsically, we are told there's something about him that makes him
That's his superpower. But then what we watch over time is that tested.
Yes.
To like great consequence for him. Other people, it's different. Tony, not so good. Decent guy. Like at his core, decent guy at his core. I don't think Tony Stark would ever, I think he's selfish, but there's something in there, right? Spider-Man, Uncle Ben, tragedy, like all of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But then there are other characters to me. And there are other characters that spend so much of their time chasing one thing. And the good thing about Riri is not necessarily her moral compass. The thing that'll make her a good hero in the future is her determination, is the tunnel vision. And there's a part of that that's very dangerous, because if you find somebody that is so focused in on one thing for whatever reason that is, that person can always be corrupted, and you can use that person to a nefarious end. So she never changes throughout this whole thing. She only gets worse.
Yep.
That makes me intrigued about what's going to change her. That makes me think, okay, who is going to come into Riri's life? You know, we've seen her with the Wakandans, but that was kind of transactional, right? She needed to help them.
Couldn't feel like she could call Shuri about it either.
Right. She couldn't feel like she could call Shuri. Like, all of the influences in her life right now that she cares about are people who are morally questionable themselves, like it's Parker or it's Obadiah's kid. What's his name? Zach Stain?
Zeke.
Zeke Stain? Ezekiel Stain? It's him, and now it's Mephisto. There's no one really right now around her telling her you shouldn't do this. As a matter of fact, her mother is so hurt by everything that has gone on in her life that she actually asked Riri to make an AI of Gary.
Mhm.
She didn't say don't make the AI.
Can you?
She goes, "Can you make one of Gary?" These people are hurting,
Yeah.
and they're she's making Riri is trying to actually, and this was the last 3 episodes told me, she's trying to science her way out of her reality, and then when she can't science her way out of it, she tries to magic her way out of it, and that's kind of what the deal with Mephisto, uh, kind of illustrated to me. There's got to be something that happens to this character at some point to where she goes, "Hey, you're a fucking brilliant person and you have to use that for good, or else you're no better than anybody else who caused a lot of the trauma or caused a lot of the situations that you're going through." And that conversation hasn't happened yet. Different people have wound her up and put her in play for their own reasons.
Yeah.
And I'm not taking away her agency from these decisions. I'm just saying, I think it was kind of daring for them to go with that. Like
Sure.
their hero made a deal with the devil at the end of their show, and these Marvel characters typically don't do that.
So can I
thought that was pretty
ask,
interesting.
would this conversation be a little bit different if any of us were more sure that there would be more Ironheart stories, where it's like Disney Plus isn't
I can feel
Yeah.
you on that.
That's
Like-
not the world that we live in now, where we're assured that there's going to be more Ironheart
like
stories.
Daredevil.
Yeah.
I could throw Daredevil some bail on that season because I'm like, all right, we're getting to season 2. Like they're gonna be able to kind of like fix a lot of the shit. Where it's like with this, I was watching and I was just like, oh, this is ending on a really interesting note. But I was just like, part of me was like, I don't even know if we're gonna get more when. And I guess that leads to my second question. How pivotal do you think this introduction of Mephisto is to the MCU? Because that was also what I was trying to be like, is this Kang level?
Hell
Is this
no.
Gaia? Like,
So it's the weird thing, and we talked about it last week, where like you have WandaVision, you have Agatha all along, you have Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness.
Spider-Man No Way Home.
You had like multiple times to ramp this dude to the MCU, and this is what you chose. All right, bet. How do we integrate him? And same thing we're talking about with Riri. When are we going to see this guy again? We have no idea. We have no idea like how this particular storyline is going to thread its way to the rest of the MCU. A lot of game left. Obviously, there's other projects. Again, if he's showing up in Ironheart, who knows where the next time we'll see Mephisto in, really. But it's just weird that this is the choice that they made when you had just billions of opportunities.
Yeah.
That made way more sense.
It feels like this thing that we like memed into existence, and then once we have it, we're like, this is how we did it.
Yeah.
This is where we're using it.
Here's the thing. If this shit happened when WandaVision dropped, everybody would
Oh my God.
Going crazy.
Losing their minds.
fucking like
Oh, people going
nuts.
crazy.
And now it's very funny to be like, oh, Mephisto finally showed up in the MCU, and it does feel a little bit like, womp womp. Like, all right, cool.
You know what's
Yeah, but-
funny? It's everything you guys are saying is true. This is how the devil shows up, though.
When you least expect him.
No, one, and
Mhm.
also, he doesn't show up for the whole thing. He shows up for you. Like when the devil, it's funny that everything that you guys are saying is true. That's all true, but this is a more authentic way to do it. The more authentic way for Mephisto to show up was for someone to walk into a bar one time, for the devil to be sitting there, and for them to just have failed, and for the devil to go, for Mephisto to go, I can make it so you succeed. And it doesn't matter who it is.
Mhm.
It could be, it could have been it could have been Bill. It could have been like, it doesn't matter who it is. It's like the more authentic way for the devil to show up is for somebody to be like, because he doesn't do the whole thing. The mythology is it's soul by soul,
Mhm.
and it's important souls. So if now it would have been cool if I don't know, the Captain America would have failed or got banished or something. It's like, listen, I can make these people see it your way. Come over
Yeah.
here, Steve. And then Steve is in that situation.
Yeah.
Then you're
Crazy.
like,
He
oh,
would never do it.
But
shit.
I mean, honestly,
never
but for
do
these TV shows, I think it would be cool if I'm like, maybe we didn't see him in WandaVision or Agatha or all these shows, but like, if you would have weaved him in a little bit more,
Right.
and then we would
Yeah.
have got him, I would have been like, oh, this is an important character versus. Like, I still don't know. I'm like, is this like an Ironheart character that is just going to be an Ironheart?
To think that
story?
Mephisto could have been like a very subtle and quiet like Thanos of the MCU TV shows
Well, guys, guess what?
actually is kind of incredible. But
That's why you have, retcons and reshoots, man. You know what I'm saying? You just
are we
shoot-
going to be CGIing him into Loki now?
Yeah, kind of like how you like in, I don't know if you guys saw Arrested Development season 4, but they just be CGI people.
Oh right,
in
yeah.
the scenes. That's what they're gonna do. They just have him like whisper into Wanda Maximoff one time, and then talking to Doctor Strange or something. Like they could do that.
I mean, now you got to ask
possible.
why some people made some decisions that they made.
Right.
Now you got to ask. But when you listen to what he said, I have the top 100 Fortune 500 guys
Mhm.
or whatever. It's like, I have 100 of them. I got them all. Some of those guys are guys we know that we've seen that have been around the MCU.
Sure.
So the reason why I liked the intimate, like they didn't even, when he said his name, there was no big, like,
Mhm.
whatever. It was just like, Mephisto, this is here. It's all about a personal relationship. They're still building that character. Now, I will say this. I did go check immediately Twitter to see if anybody cared. Because if I'd have gone to Twitter and Ironheart would not have been trending or Mephisto would not have been trending, I'd have been like, shit.
It's over.
It's
done.
It's done. It was, but I am not sitting here saying that if they would have done it in WandaVision or even Agatha or even, I don't know, anybody else.
I mean,
it would've
Spider-Man
been a
No Way
bigger deal.
Home, Mephisto is in that story of
Right.
Parker,
Yeah.
the world forgetting who Parker is.
Right.
Or in like the Mary Jane of it all. I'm not saying, I don't
But,
think,
to
I'm
that
not saying
point,
No Way Home would have been better with Mephisto. That is not what I'm
but
saying.
Mephisto could be back in Brand New Day. What makes sense
Could.
is Mephisto would be back in Brand New Day. Now that the character is there, you could see Mephisto coming
Did you
back.
guys
in
see?
Brand New
Because
Day.
it's from that dude who never gets any of the fucking rumors right. He said, I don't want to say his name. I'm not giving him no. But on Twitter, he was basically like, "Oh, the plot of
Saw
the
that,
new
yeah.
Spider-Man is Spider-Man and Punisher versus the Savage Hulk." I guess Mr. Negative probably makes like Hulk bad, which I could see. But I was like, when I saw that rumor, I'm just like, what the fuck are Spider-Man and the Punisher doing against fucking Savage Hulk?
I have no clue.
Where's Daredevil at? He can make the cut,
What's
right?
Daredevil doing against the
If
fucking Hulk?
Punisher's
you're gonna-
there, then Daredevil's gonna.
Yeah, if you're gonna do the whole like Marvel Street Heroes thing, like cool, like Savage Hulk, that's a little tough. That might be a little bit.
He
To
better
know that we
call
have
fucking
Punisher-
Ben Graham.
You got to make some calls.
Yeah, you gotta make some.
Yeah.
You gotta make some calls. Like
Like
I don't.
Thor, like damn.
Yeah. Well, nobody knows who he is, so it's gonna be a little tough for him to be like, yo, like hit up the phone, like, yo, all right, Tony's dead. Steve
Whoa,
is somewhere.
to be clear, they don't know that Spider-Man is Peter Parker, but Peter Parker still helped the Avengers, so you never know.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like they still know. Wait, am I wrong? They
No,
should still
they
know
should
that
So they know
Spider-Man.
who Spider-Man is.
They
just
know
don't
Spider-Man. They just don't know he's Peter Parker.
Right.
Right.
But then like I guess, but like, hey yo, what's up? What's up, Falcon? Oh, my fault, Captain America. Yeah. We need some help over here. Who are you? Who am I? I'm Spider-Man. You know me, Spider-Man, right?
I'm in
What?
the phone. I'm in your phone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm calling you right now.
what did the
Hello?
caller ID say?
Excuse me? And then I can't imagine him trying to talk to Bucky. That's going straight to voicemail.
I mean, fucking.
Yes,
I will
yeah.
say Riri said that shit about Shuri when she did that whole thing where I'm just like,
her
hey,
and
yo,
Shuri's supposed to be sisters, man.
I'm like, you being proud. Fucking call Shuri.
Yeah.
like fucking call
Like you
Shuri.
got a direct line to the Black
I
Panther.
mean,
I think what happened was like they tried to call Shuri, and I'll see. This is real African stuff right here. You used to have before WhatsApp. You used to have to go get like cards to call people in Africa.
calling cards?
Yeah, you have to go get calling cards to call people in Africa. And so what happens is Letitia Wright, her calling card is a couple milli, so you can't really afford
it's a
to
vibranium
go.
call
Yeah,
card.
yeah, you can't really afford to call her.
so you tell me that the Wakandans don't have affordable communications?
I'm saying they do. Marvel doesn't.
Yeah.
And so when they like, yo, we got to call Shuri, it's like Shuri's not gonna pick up the phone because you can't
here's the
afford to
thing.
pay her to
But
pick
here's
up
the
the
thing.
phone.
So let me get this straight. The Wakandans are gonna travel to give fucking Bucky some new shit and fucking Falcon some new shit, but they can't help a black sister from Chicago with her suit.
She could have
like the
called him.
devil.
She
First of
definitely
all,
should have called.
She could have called him because the reality is that, look, nigga, you came over here and got me when you needed me to come help you.
Exactly.
Or do the whole
Mm.
thing. She could have called him. She
Like
didn't want
run it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't want to call them or the story.
She could get like a Wakandan wizard to be like, hey, yo, actually,
A Wakandan wizard.
like, let me, you know what I'm saying?
It'd be great
Send
if-
Brother Voodoo or some shit.
Brotherhood is
over it.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, we didn't need Shuri. We couldn't get, AO.
Right.
Like, we
From the Sid?
No. The Dora Milaje. The Dora
They are in
Milaje.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. If that's a bear
Where's Sid go
crossover?
from the bear country.
Yeah,
There's a
they're
bear
in Chicago.
crossover in Ironheart. Oh my god.
That's
cinema.
season 2. They gonna go to the bear.
They're going to the
I'll
bear.
be
That's
honest
cinema.
with you. It could be the same universe. It's FX, it's Fox, it's Disney.
Yeah.
That would be crazy if Shuri sat down and all you heard was cousin.
No, and Cousin's talking to Mephisto, and he's like chopping his ear off about Bill Murray or whatever the fuck.
Carmi needs to go to Mephisto.
All right, so my last thing for y'all, do you guys think at like this point Marvel has lost a little bit of the juice with some of the stunts where it's like when they did the new Avenger shit, I feel like people like, damn, people are gonna care. And it was kind of like, same thing with Mephisto. It's like the more
I think people cared about Mephisto.
Well, the problem is the payoff. You're not guaranteed payoff. When they used to show something back then, you're like, all right. And the next movie, or it's like down the line, I know that this person's going to show up and they're going to matter. They're going to be important.
when you
Brothers.
see Pietro and Scarlet Witch, when you see Nick Fury walk through the door, you're
Dude.
like, this is going to pay
This
off.
is going
And
to
that-
mean something. Brother, we saw Ben Goldstein be Hercules in 2022.
Never heard
We
from
have
him
never
again.
heard from him again, man. Like,
It feels like they just like troll Reddit what we were yelling about for like 3 years ago, and then put it in the most recent.
Claire
Marvel
showed
thing.
up in fucking Doctor Strange, never heard from again. Like,
if we knew that
nobody
these
gives a
things were
fuck about
coming
that,
together, like, all right, we're going to see these guys in 2 to 3 years, then we'd be excited. But now we're just like, all right, cool. Maybe, probably not. Who
Yeah.
cares? Harry Styles was in Eternals.
And then you ask Harry Styles, and they're like, they haven't called me about
Ooh.
anything. I don't know
Yeah,
what that
we
was.
never see him fucking Black Knight fucking again. Like,
Mahershala was like, what's up,
Almost
man?
seems like now they're trying to test stuff out to see if it works. To see if
Why?
it's there.
Just do it. Just
do
believe
it.
in what
Shit
you
or get
do.
off the pot.
Hercules. They're like
Crazy.
Pip the Troll. Shout out Pip the Troll.
They-
Shout out Pip the Troll.
They're just testing stuff out or throwing stuff in to kind of see if it works.
It's nuts.
The only thing I would say about this one that was a little different is Mephisto seemed to have some type of story purpose, and some of these other ones they
fair?
just don't.
Sure, it's fair.
Yeah.
Very true.
They
Yeah.
just don't. They don't have any story purpose at all, like zero story purpose. But I don't know. My last question for you guys is: we know that Ironheart is sort of a relic of a past Marvel approach to television and filmmaking.
Yeah.
Right.
How much of the baby gets thrown out with the bathwater?
If I'm going to be 100% honest, I don't think there is any world where the brass is like, we want to spend, because like with the amount of CGI that was in this, they're like, we want to spend another $150, $200 million on Ironheart, unless it is doing Daredevil or above numbers. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't think anything's been released. I don't know if it's doing Daredevil numbers, but there is a level like maybe we see Young Avengers or a Champion thing. But I do think that this is them saying like, hey, yo, we tried. We put Mephisto in this shit. We put Alden in this. We had Eric Andre. We had fucking stuff. We got Sacha Baron Cohen. And y'all motherfuckers were quiet. It's a wrap. You know, like, I don't see any world where they're just like, yep, we want to put 200 more mil into Ironheart season 2.
I think they're, like, to your point, they're fundamentally changing how they make TV going forward. And so I can't imagine, like, all right, guys, another 6 episodes of Riri doing her stuff in Chicago, man. Let's get it. I don't think that's going to go the same way anymore. And so, really, I mean, outside of Daredevil season 2, we're not really. What kind of TV are we
Anything
looking
been
forward
announced
to?
besides Daredevil
Wonder
season
Man.
2?
Wonder Man, but I think that's part of
That was part of the last regime, though.
Yeah.
yeah.
We haven't gotten any new
Anything-
Disney Plus show, like even rumors since
Anything
Daredevil.
that's going to come out post Doomsday, I feel like we have to wait until after Doomsday happens, and then they'll read the tea leaves and see what they can actually.
The only
do.
thing
If
we
I'm being-
know, only thing we know we're getting is animated stuff.
Sure.
Like Eyes of Wakanda's coming out later this year.
X-Men 97,
X-Men 97
season
season 2. Friendly Neighbor Spider-Man season 2 and 3.
2. Marvel Zombies.
Marvel Zombies. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it for TV. And Wonder Man. After that, after live action, it's just Wonder Man. After that comes out December
Mm-hmm.
2026, it's just Daredevil Born Again, and that's it.
I think if Fantastic Four is successful, or even if it's not, I think after Avengers Secret War, they're doing a hard reset where it's like a bunch of this shit we are never seeing again. I think they're starting. I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, we are recasting Captain America, we're recasting Iron Man, we are just fucking.
I think that's the point of Secret War.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the big testing point of the entire endeavor, where we're like, all right, if Secret Wars and Doomsday really hit like we want it to, then we put more gas in the tank for.
Well, there's going to be a
next few
full
years.
X-Men pivot at that point.
Yeah.
To where they're the center of the MCU to me. So
then why would you, then my question would be like, would you be like, yeah, we still want to do a second Anthony Mackie movie, or we want to do another Marvel's movie, or are you just like, we're going to have a Captain America, we'll have an Iron Man, we might have a Captain Marvel, but it's not going to be tied to that continuity in all of those stories. I think they're kind of just like, we need to kind of, the only thing I could see them probably bringing over is like, the shit that's working, which is probably Fantastic Four.
Well, I'll say this. They do have to be dedicated to their story, right?
Mm.
Like, so at a certain point, they're going to have to tell the stories that they want to tell, regardless of how things shake out from a box office or fan perspective standpoint. And they've always done that, right? They didn't go, okay, Thor the Dark World sucks, so no more Thor. They didn't go, all right, so lukewarm response to the first Captain America, so we're not doing it anymore. Like, they, at some point, they're going to have faith in the characters and the stories that they want to tell. It's different now because we criticize things in a different way, and we have a different relationship with some of the stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so our expectations are changed. But at some point, they have to go, this is our plan for this character. This is our plan for this world. This is our plan for this arc. And they have to go do it. And they have to make creative choices that work. And they can't just punt whatever the fans say they don't like something.
But I do think,
I mean,
I
they
do think the
can't.
audience is saying, we don't really like this interconnected stuff as much as we did. It's getting too confusing. And I think they're probably like, damn, does it, because like if Superman hits, if the Batman 2 hits, if all this stuff starts hitting from DC, I could see Marvel being like, oh, the fans are saying we want new beginnings. We don't want to have to watch 30 plus movies, 20 TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
We want
Right.
one Fantastic Four. Like we want to watch a Fantastic Four movie, an X-Men movie, an Avengers movie. We don't want all of that.
Well,
shit.
Superman's kicking off a universe, though. So if Superman works, then the fans are signing up for it again.
No, but I
Definitely.
think the MCU version of that is, okay, people want a new universe, we're starting a new universe.
Well, I don't know if they'll start a new universe, but I think to your point, once we get past Doomsday, Secret Wars, it's like, bam, X-Men. It's what you guys want, right? You guys want new Wolverine, new Beast, the whole thing. Boom. Well, let's do that for a couple years. And then we'll get
Motherfuckers are
back.
probably going to be like, hey, yo, Black Panther 3, we give
Oh, you're going to get Black Panther.
Oh, yeah.
3.
I mean,
I mean,
yeah.
you're going to get Black
Denzel's
Panther 3.
coming.
No, but I'm saying, do we get Black Panther 3 continuing a story from Wakanda Forever? Or
Hey,
they use
you-
like we put the Black
once
Panther in this
again,
shit?
Yeah, I think we're getting the Black Panther.
We-
Well,
you-
what they have to do is not care about that. What they have to do is care about making good stuff that people want to watch.
Mm.
If making good stuff that people want to watch means giving them less homework, then they got to give them less homework.
Mm.
But if making good stuff that people want to watch is building on what people have already put into it, then they got to do that. But that's their decision. I would certainly hope that there's no group, and obviously this hope, might not be possible being that they cast Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom. I mean, it doesn't seem like they're doing this, but I would hope that they wouldn't say, hey, you know what? We had great plans for this character. We had great plans, great stories to tell,
Mhm.
but we're just not going to do it because of whatever. Now, look, there's a realization that comes along with that. If you make a television show and season 1 don't hit, you don't get season 2.
Yeah.
If season 2 don't hit, you don't get season 3.
Mm.
That's the way that works. I get it that that's a part of it. I will say with some of this stuff though, it is a little different because you're not just deleting shows, you're deleting mythology.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a difference, right? If you decide right now that The Bear doesn't get season 5 or whatever show doesn't get season 2, there's not a hole in your storytelling to where people are going, okay, well, what happened to that? Like, Marvel can't actually introduce characters now without people asking, where have these people been?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, so it's even more difficult. It's like, okay, let's talk about the Eternals. All right, well, we could have used the Eternals. Like Fantastic Four, or we could have used the Fantastic Four. Like, where have these people been?
Yeah, right.
And so now to just delete a character and just be like, this never happened, people are gonna kind of be like, well, okay, this shit's happened in Chicago. What is Riri Williams up to? Doesn't she exist? So you either got to kill these people, because remember, we're watching comic books. Like, we're watching comic books. You either got to kill these people, or you got to retcon, amnesia this shit out of this way. So,
and comics have done that too. Like, they've always constantly like redone and retread.
And by the way, they cancel books.
Yeah.
Right. So, but my thing is, I don't know. I would hope, and obviously they have to listen to us. Like, we're the fans. I would hope that they have plans for Riri. They have plans for Mephisto. They have plans. I'm not confident that they do.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
I'm not confident that they do.
If they did have plans, I think they would have released this
a lot sooner.
And a lot differently.
Yeah.
And I think if they were invested in this, they would be like, hey, yo, we think we got one. And I think they buried this in June, July
which is the difference between Thor or Captain America, characters that you know have to exist. There, you have to figure them out. Maybe you guys are saying that Riri Williams is a character that you don't have to figure out. Although I would argue that Mephisto is.
Yeah.
That Mephisto is a character that Marvel needs.
Do they?
Yeah. They've to me, I think Mephisto, I'll tell you why. I'll make the case about why Marvel needs Mephisto.
Okay.
Number one, they need more villains than just one big villain. They need a bunch of villains that they can kind of structure their storytelling around. I think Marvel is in a situation where they could have a street level villain, and that could be Kingpin. Mm-hmm. They could have a mystical villain, that could be Mephisto.
Right.
They could have a overall big time heavy, that could be Doom. Mm-hmm. They could then have a cosmic villain, and we're kind of still figuring out who that could be, but maybe it's Galactus, maybe it's somebody else, right?
Yeah.
So you have, it actually helps your storytelling if not everything, if just like the comics, if not everything has to be relying on everything else. If you're not wondering, okay, what does this have to do with the Mephisto arc that's going on or whatever arc that's going on? Or if you have, for the Thunderbolts, Captain America portion of this, the villain be Valerie, right? Be DeFontaine, right? Mm-hmm. If you have these different things going, it actually makes these stories easier to tell because they don't have to be everything to everyone, right? Your cosmic story doesn't have to be this. I think they were getting there. I think they were getting to a point, even though in the last phase, they were all kind of the same. Thanos was the cosmic villain. He was also kind of the Captain America villain. He was also all of this stuff. Mm-hmm. Now, if we have more eyes and more stuff, we can do it that way. And Mephisto is an important part of that because if you have the witchy, sort of demon-y, sort of angel, monster-y stuff, he could be that guy. Mm-hmm. And so they do need to find a place for that. And it actually makes these stories less interconnected. You could follow one specific narrative until it's time to weave them all. Or the narrative is simpler and you can jump in and jump out, just like basically like the comics.
But is there an audience for that? Because I think that what they're telling us is that there's not. Like in terms of just like that level of storytelling and how much money it takes to make these TV shows, I think they're like, yeah, y'all not showing up for it like that. So we giving y'all 2 movies and we giving you 2 shows.
Well, we'll see. What if if we're living in the future now to where people only show up for Avengers movies, then the whole thing's gonna fail.
Yeah.
No, I think people have proved, and I think this is a DC thing too. People show up for Superman, Batman, sometimes the Joker. People show up for Avengers. People show up for Spider-Man, X-Men. I think it's the lower level that is just like it's becoming. It's like the NBA. The people who are at the top and getting paid are getting paid. I think we're having a middle class superhero where that's becoming like it's becoming smaller and smaller.
Well,
and smaller.
I think because it's gotten bigger and bigger, right?
Yeah.
You make your money with Iron Man and Thor, Captain America. Everybody's like, oh, we can just throw anybody out there, man. People go watch it. And it's like, all right, there's a lot of these people we don't really care about as much as we care about those guys. And so when you start making Avengers movies, you start making like more Batman.
But would you have
movies,
said that Doctor Strange was one of those guys? Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness made $900 million.
Yeah, but I think that made that amount of money. A lot of that, I think, had to do with where it fell in terms of like Multiverse of Madness. I think that they were kind of pitching this as, oh, this is like the future of the MCU.
There's a lot of momentum behind that, and we were approaching Marvel movies with, oh man, this one is going to be the next big thing where all of this blows
Spider-Man
open.
No Way Home, Multiverse of Madness.
Remember,
this is the new
we
shit.
were like, man, this is going to change how we see the entire universe.
And we did that for 6 movies.
Well, all I'm saying is this though, and you guys are right. All I'm saying is the point that I'm making is it's not the character that denotes how excited we are about something. It's the story momentum. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying it's not necessarily the character that makes us go. It's the story momentum.
But I still think it does have to do a lot with the characters because here's the thing. Thunderbolts, we all love that movie. It does push the MCU forward. It is important to their future. And people were still like, you could call them the new Avengers. You could call them whatever. We're not interested.
Yeah.
We're missing each other. Thunderbolts had absolutely zero story momentum because it's not picking up for anything other than the Black Widow movie. So you had seen those characters before, but what I'm saying is like Thunderbolts was kind of the beginning of something. They didn't have any characters that we hadn't seen before. I'm not saying that we didn't. I'm saying that if Thunderbolts would have released in 2018 or 2019, it probably would have been differently received. Received
I agree with that.
Or
definitely.
even like 20 or 21 or like whatever, it probably would have received differently. I'm not saying that we can get back to a point to where Marvel has the propulsion that it has before. We do this every single time. I'm not saying that.
Stand of Marvel.
But like I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is the characters matter. The story of the characters matter. But they matter insofar as people are invested into what happens next. And I'm saying the reason why a Mephisto or some of these other characters could actually help that is because you need, in my opinion, a North Star. You need a guiding light. You need villains that people can orient around. You need like and it can't be all the same because that gets to be too much for people.
Yeah.
Like that, in my opinion. By the way, we do this every time.
Yeah.
And, we're talking around it. It just might fucking be over. It could be over.
We got fantastic. Wait, we don't know it's over.
I mean, over in terms of the way that it used to be.
Sure, yeah.
It could be over because I'm
Marvel
telling you
of
right
old,
now, if they cast a Negro male to play Magneto, people not going to see it. There are going to be a lot of people who do go to see it, but if they cast that, these fucking racists online, they're serious. They mean it. They not fucking around. We're fucking around. They're not fucking around. They have a rule. No niggers. And
They say it just like that, actually.
And they fucking mean it. They want white, straight heroes. That's what they want.
They fucking lying because I saw them Aquaman fucking numbers. I see them fucking all that fucking Suicide Squad shit. Motherfuckers wasn't showing up for that shit.
What you mean?
We're always just like, oh, these racists, they just want this type of superhero, And I'm just like, hey, yo, we've had a lot of them
that
in
first
recent
Aquaman
memory.
made $1 billion.
And they not fucking watching that shit.
That first Aquaman did good. Them niggas racist. I don't like them.
Of course.
I want to kick them.
Bold stance. We don't like racism.
They didn't
Both
show
stands
up.
for
They didn't
you.
show up for that third
Yeah.
Venom movie.
Huh?
They didn't show up for that third Venom movie.
They didn't? How much did that make?
I
Venom
could have
3.
sworn that made a
I
decent
think it
money.
did okay.
What did it do?
According to Wikipedia, Venom 3 made almost $500 million. 47,
Yeah.
47 to 8.
Not
Point
that
nine,
much.
yeah.
That-
Budget of
'cause
120.
But the first one made like $1 billion though, didn't it?
Yeah, but I think the the drop
diminishing
offs
returns.
weren't that crazy.
Only thing I'm saying about that
Different
is
way.
that the difference is that Xavier is like a beloved character, and so is Magneto. But Magneto, and I will say about Magneto, I will say this: Xavier is one thing, but changing Magneto's origin story, it's saying something. He has a very distinct origin story. Okay, all right. I'm just being honest with you. It's saying something. If there was a black hero and his origin story was that he escaped the slave plantation, and all of a sudden they came back and they had Joe Jonas playing that motherfucker, and they completely changed his shit.
Singing
I would be
Les
mad
Mis.
too. I'm just
But
saying, I
all
would
I'm
be
saying
mad
is
too.
it's just like, I
it's-
do get the MCU being like, damn, story-wise, we're going to have to do a lot of work to be like, hey, yo, Magneto was alive during World War II. We do realize it's like, this movie's coming out like 2030.
It's
Yeah,
tough
yeah,
because
it's a long
'cause
time.
the comics have this like I can't
The
get
sliding
into it. The
scale,
sliding
yeah.
scale, right? And so like people move up. Like for Iron Man, it was first Vietnam, and then it's like Afghanistan. Like they keep these things moving so that like when Captain America first got out the ice, it was like 25, 30 years. Now it's 70, right? Just because of
Yeah.
how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they have to
Magneto-
do a lot in the comics for
Magneto,
Magneto
not
to be
to-
like,
yeah.
wow, how's he still
World War
alive?
II.
Not to
Yeah.
say that like they shouldn't do that, but it's different. It's all it
Yeah,
is.
see,
It's
this
different.
this the third rail right here. We can't.
It's
Can't touch
different.
it.
It's
Don't
different.
touch it.
Midnight Meter for Ironheart.
It's different.
Boys, where
I think
we
they'll
going?
do it. It's different. Gotta be honest. At first, I was ready to be Charles about it and just be like, "Yo, this is a 3." You know what I'm saying? But the last episodes, I think, did a number on me. Like again, it wasn't like anything crazy, but I think if they had just done this for 6 episodes, we'd be talking like way different about it. So for me, I gotta give it a 5. Gotta give it a 5.
I'm also there. I'm at a 5. And this is with like a lot of respect that I want to give to these final 3 episodes because it really brought me back from a break. Like this isn't a backpedal. Like these last 3 are a genuine improvement on the first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go 6.
Honestly, I think you guys are going to be. I'm with y'all. I'm going to give it a 5, like straight 5. Like it's. I say this a lot. I think for a lot of these shows, it's like that 5 sometimes to note. All right, the first half of this was not great, and this 5 is fully that you guys found some type of footing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Real quick before we get out of here, we've been podding all day.
We've been doing our thing. We have to give y'all the potty pods.
Breaking news from Deadline: Last of Us co-creator Neil Druckmann has stepped back creatively from HBO series ahead of season 3.
Wait, he's not involved in season 3?
Not involved in season 3.
Not involved in season 3.
Was he booted out? Or, I mean, it's not to say that.
He has said that he has chosen to step away and focus on future Naughty Dog games.
Right.
I
I
could see with the reception of how season 2 went, I think that it wouldn't be crazy to think that they thought it best that his involvement was less.
So he was credited as writer or co-writer on 5 episodes and directed 2, including the penultimate episode of season 2.
Yeah.
The Last of Us is over, guys. It's over.
Really?
You think so?
Yeah, it's finished, man. It's over.
Even with him being like, "Hey, man, Craig, you got it, big dog." This is
I
all you.
will completely support The Last of Us season 3 for sure. Because
You're Team Abby now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I want to see Ellie get hers.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? We talked about all of this stuff about Ironheart. Look at Ellie. Ellie, if you know what?
We tore Ellie and like every week we were like, fuck Ellie.
Yeah.
How dare she?
But guess
die?
what? They had the nuts to do it. So Ellie,
They stood 10 toes down for it.
stood 10 toes down for it. You know what? Ironheart 10 on the midnight meter. Because Ellie, because if no one can be, if we're doing it on the Ellie scale,
Sure.
Oh my god.
Oh man, please.
Oh man.
if we're doing it on the Ellie scale, Riri is fucking Steve Rogers. Ellie
Compared
is
to
leading
Ellie from
everyone
last
to their
week.
death.
In fairness,
Ellie has gotten everyone that she loves killed. Like
in fairness,
Killed,
to
maimed.
Ellie,
shots, maimed.
it is the apocalypse.
Okay.
Right.
Riri is doing all this shit in a time of abundance. You know what I mean?
I don't know if you could say
Southside
that.
Chicago, not exactly abundance, but
All right, first of all,
Jesus Christ.
all right, man.
What?
All right, man.
Jesus
All right,
Christ.
man.
See,
not.
man, can you say that? Have you helped?
That's your city, bro.
Your
That's
city.
That's
how
your
you know.
people.
All right, Southside of Chicago
Wow.
got a lot of culture, got a
That's
lot of beautiful
crazy.
people. This is crazy.
That's supposed
That's
to
what
be
I'm saying.
But
No, you're
Steve
not
is
giving
right.
10 toes
I'm
down.
joking with Steve, but Steve is right to a degree. It's not like, we
Yeah, but he ain't last.
But really,
it's not the apocalypse, no. But
yeah. I mean, what does this mean for the show, though? What does this mean for Last of Us? Does this mean
I think that this is a bit more of an assessment on what they thought, both critically and numbers wise. For
I legitimately think if season 2 was hitting, then it wouldn't be
that
an
it wouldn't be
issue.
like this.
I can see
But-
what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, it did not move people the way it moved people.
Can I ask this? My last question on The Last of Us. Do you think that they're kind of like, yeah, the plan was to give Abby her whole season and then to do another one after this? Do you think they're a little bit like, you might want to wrap this one up in just season 3?
I think
I gotta see Abby win.
Yeah, I think here's the thing. I think the momentum around season 3 pivoting
That's it.
creatively even away from the games, because there was a lot of pivots away from the games in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
If there's either a correction towards more game accuracy or a pivot in another direction that we actually haven't seen before that actually captivates a lot of people, I think they could invest in it more. Because it's not like it's not an unpopular show.
Right.
Like, they will do this again.
Nah, they gonna come back. They gonna
Yeah.
give you the show.
Mm-hmm.
You gonna get these fucking.
These
zombie
zombie shows.
What if they did it like the Evangelion movies, where the first one is basically like the first 7
I
episodes,
don't wanna
And
talk
then
about
the
it.
second one's a little
entirely
different, depressing.
and then
Yeah, well, I
the
don't wanna
third
talk about
movie is
Evangeline Lilly.
completely
Yeah.
different.
Then it's
I don't want to talk about Evangeline Lilly right here.
I mean, no one wants to
remember
talk
that
about
time
Evangeline
was, remember that time when Charles Evangeline Lilly? She on the same side as remember that time Charles was hollering at chicks based off Evangeline Lilly at 4100?
Yeah.
Oh no! Literally,
Yeah.
what happened was I walk in, y'all are already fucking wasted, and you yell across from like the whole fucking outside.
No.
Hey, yo, Charles, we got some weaves here for you. Come talk to the
They are
weaves.
They were weebing. Yeah, we were arguing.
They were
We
weebs.
gotta
Shout
go.
out to them.
We just, you know what? Shut up, everyone. No, we love you guys.
Thought you're talking to us.
No. not you.
No.
Okay, that's a wrap. This week on the Ring of Race feed, tomorrow House of R will be continuing their deep dive on Squid Game. And this Friday, the Midnight Boys bring you a very special Midnight Court. Oh my God.
Got to
All
core it
right,
up.
I want to say something real quick.
Mm-hmm.
When I show y'all pictures, y'all gotta be nice. That's not right what happened earlier.
All necks, not nice.
Aleya can say whatever she wants.
Okay.
Okay. She had a lot to say about Sydney Sweeney and different
Her
people
bathwater.
like that.
Sabrina Carpenter.
Sabrina Carpenter. But I try to show nice pictures.
Yeah.
And I get looked at like a brontosaurus.
That's your new nickname, Van All Neck.
All
Lace.
neck lace.
crazy,
All
bro.
neck.
All
Vanosaurus.
Littlefoot, like just
Hey,
All neck lace.
old man Van out for at least 1 month. All neck.
I'm
You
not
have the
calling
receding
you all
resurgent
neck.
neckline.
All neck.
Use.
Give the
All
receding
neck.
I
neckline. She's like, it's all neck.
refuse.
It's all neck.
What's a
Oh,
more
okay.
respectable word for pause?
I don't know.
Cease.
Cease.
Our producer of the Salt Factory or Aleya, Jade, Whaley, who I thought was gonna have my back. Join me at Adeniran on socials. Hashtag Vibranium calling card. What? Hashtag Vibranium call card. An additional production from Arjuna Ramgopowell. Chuck, take us out.
White women love Van.
Oh my God.
Mephisto deserves respect. Shout out
here
to
we go.
old photos
Here we go.
that show nothing but neck.
Little
Yeah,
cease.
did you? Hey man, so real quick, the
It's not
fever,
going to be, but go ahead.
the fever won like the Commissioner's Cup.
Oh, dog.
Yeah, and they were on IG Live.
And what's your name? Bro, that is funny. Put
They
that on the show.
They were on IG.
Oh,
they
my
were on
God.
IG Live, and Kayla Clark is like bending down in front of the camera to like celebrate the people, and Sid Colson comes behind her and like imitates like trying to hump Kayla
And
Clark.
that is,
And Kayla
I have
Clark
to be
was
honest.
like,
that almost made me change my
Caitlin Clark
It
opinion?
was such a human moment.
Wait, what did Caitlin Clark do?
I don't like Caitlin Clark, but fuck it. I don't give a fuck how y'all feel about it. But Caitlin Clark looked like I could. It was such a relatable moment that I was. It was just like it's a relatable moment. Like
She's like, hey, bro,
chill. Like, she just got caught slipping. Like she just got caught slipping. Bro, it's so funny. Bro. She just got like Caitlin's
Somebody got this video?
Oh yeah,
bro. We got the video. Caitlin was smiling, all looking into the camera, talking to the people, and then she bends over in front of the wrong person, and it happens. I was like, it was a very relatable moment. It was a relatable moment.
Oh
Caitlin
my God.
And it also showed Caitlin Clark as just like one of the gals.
Yo, pass it.
It's funny. It's very funny. That's funny.
Whoa, chill out.
Yo, that's wow.
So let me see it again.
She said, no, thank you.
No, thank you.
Why does she cover her booty?
No, thank you. She's so polite. No, thank you.
That's just
Cease.
very, very funny to me. Ah, man.
Oh my
I
God.
don't want to not like people. I guess I'm
Why
okay
do
with Caitlin.
Shout out Caitlin Clark.
Hating. All neck
I'm
hating.
not fucking with it. Shooting what? 38% from the field right now?
All right.
Stop. Okay.